Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Next Pro Show. Got a new lineup over here today. We got Matt joining Shotgun here alongside myself. Happy back. Happy for anyone tuning in. Soon to tune in. Really appreciate y'all. Before we even get started, Matt, how you doing?
I'm good. It was a busy, long week last week. Probably the busiest week of the year, at least one of them for us. So great that it went well, and on to the next week. Last week of the spring season this week.
Ooh, that's a lot. We're definitely looking forward to talking about that. Definitely exciting stuff here. But yeah, let's start. I mean, the main event. Everyone was in one place this weekend. Whether it was players, teams, coaches, college coaches, everybody. And so, listen, it's all about Wichita. That's where we got to go. So, first thing first, we're about to go dive into some of these squads 4-0, do the thing that we normally do. But if you were to give a general kind of overview of how you felt about it, Matt, how would you describe it from someone who, like I said, just saw the hoop from afar? It seemed like it was so cool.
Yeah, no, I think we had a really good showing last year in Wichita, and this year it was really just magnified. And a lot of that comes down, let's just call it what it is. We've got a great team at NXTPRO, but we're only as good as our players, and our players put on an absolute show. We provided this stage, and they did the hard work and earned a ton of offers. We're up over 100 scholarship offers, and it's Tuesday at 8:00. So they're still rolling in. Literally, as the show started, Caden Edwards just picked up an offer from Creighton. So they continue to flow in. We'll talk a lot about those offers, a lot about the players, because at the end of the day, again, they are the show. But it was a very exciting weekend. Really proud of our staff. Very appreciative of the support, obviously, we've had from Puma and everyone on their hoops team. They've been great to us, and we're excited to be with them and have the Puma PRO16 and looking forward to a really, really big finish to the spring this weekend and into July, which, we're going to get 2 of those live periods. And anyone that saw what happened last year knows the July live periods are even bigger than what we just saw. So very excited for Phoenix and Indy in July, and then the next finals, which are going to be in Nebraska, which will be very fun.
Wow. That's crazy to think that it goes even bigger than that, because that seemed like just an amazing experience for sure. Yeah, I guess kind of like we were talking about on the show weeks in advance of how important, playing through the line and going each week and finishing strong, and all the standings updates that we did kind of led up to, I guess, this initial first big event of like you said, showcasing that. So that was really cool. And we're going to not even waste time and dive right into it, because some teams, shout out to every team in this, because again, a lot of teams, a lot of great games, I'm sure, great finishes, amazing performances. We got a ton to break down. We got 4-0s. We got 4-0s. We got a lot that went and ran the table, which I guess I'm shocked as someone still outsider coming in, as far as like how many teams like ran the table in that event with that many squads all in one. Like, is that, and maybe this is some newness on my part, Matt, but is that something that is rare? Is that something of just the talent level that these teams just collectively had that just make this happen?
Well, I think it starts with, for those who are, maybe new this year to our circuit, we don't rank teams. I think a lot of people call these rankings. They're not rankings. They are standings. And truthfully, the heart of the standings at this point in the season, last week was week 8. This week is week 9. We know what teams are. Now, it doesn't mean that every now and then we're surprised. Sure, that happens. But what I mean by that is, as you go through the season, everyone starts off on an even playing field. And then there's teams that rise above and they go into, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And then there's teams that, start out really slow and maybe they're in tier 7 or 6 or 5. And then you're able to move up and down throughout the season and how you go. Well, by the time that we have 9 weeks of data across the entire league, it is very surprising that we had any team go undefeated, because they played exactly who they were supposed to play. Meaning, if you are the 67th team in the standings, you were playing probably teams, within that range of 5 to 10 above you and 5 to 10 below you. So it should have been very competitive, and it was for the majority of the tournament. But I would say that there were some pools and there were some teams that shockingly did go undefeated in very, very difficult pools. And I think you got to start with BTI United, led by Nicholas Kamania, Peyton White, Isaiah Johnson, Xavion Staten. They were tremendous. They played 5 games. All the Pro 16 teams played 5 except for one group. And they were the only Pro 16 17U team to go 5-0. And they had the hardest schedule of the entire season, Corbin. I mean, they played literally the best of the best and were able to, win games. And some of those came in overtime, most notably the Peacock game, which was tremendous. Hopefully you, as well as everyone else, got a chance to watch that. Just one of the coolest games probably of our entire season. YGC versus BTI ends up with an Elam ending. That's how we do our overtimes. It's 1st to 4. I think sudden death sucks, to be quite honest.
Really?
But
Okay.
at the same time, you can't allow the game to go forever. And AAU basketball, like you can't have grassroots games going 2 hours. So you do
Fair
need
enough.
a ending. But it ended with Nicholas Kamania hitting that big shot at the end of the game. And I think, with that game and other games, they were in a lot of close battles. But the fact that they pulled those out is a real testament, considering they had the toughest schedule by any measurement that any team has seen all season long.
That is impressive. That's certainly something, especially like you said, given the talent level and seeing that was, first of all, that game. The PI games in general this year have been off the chain. I mean, my first time experience and just been everyone down to the wire has been really, really fun. But going back to BTI, like you said, yeah, not only taking care of business, but against the teams that they did in a variety of fashion. Again, teams that get it done, however they get it done, as long as you walk away with that W, that's the important thing. And so I don't want to put you on the spot here, Matt, but I'm going to a little bit here. You mentioned a few standout players, and whether it's Nick Kamenia, whether it's Xavier Stanton, Isaiah Johnson, a bunch of these guys. Which player popped off, or which, you could say all of them if you'd like, just give a little bit, which players popped off to you the most or popped out to you the most? Because watching Nick Kamenia, the way, not only the stat numbers for me, but also the way he was able to kind of mix in his scoring. And also, obviously the box score numbers are great. And so contributing to the game in a variety of levels, that's impressive. But that's just from what I saw. What did you see that you liked from any of the players on BTI that really kind of helped this team come together this weekend?
Well, I think you have to start with Nick. He was unbelievable. And I know, obviously, look, I sat in the seat as the director of the Pro 16 League. And of course, I'm rooting for all of our guys to do well, whether they're in the Pro 16 next section, wherever they are. If they're in our league, we want them to do really well. Nick, he's a 5-star. And this ranking thing and the 5 or 4-star or 3-star, or wherever the player is, it's always a delicate balance. And I try to tell people not how to do their jobs as best as I can. But when I do have an opinion that is as strong as it is with certain players, the reality is I'm going to voice it. And I think we have 3 at least that I would say as of tonight are 5-star level talents. And Nick, I mean, to me, what more do you want? The production is there. Every college that sat there and watched him play was blown away. And quite frankly, the game that was the most impressive, he had 36 points on, I believe it was 12 or 13 shots. That game blew me away because, again, to know Nicholas Kamania, he's doing all of these different things. It's not like he's just scoring, but the fact that he's able to do it on such little shots and be impactful as he was, every game he was impactful. I would argue his worst game of this year, of the maybe of the whole season, but I'll say definitely his worst game in Wichita was the Peacock game. He didn't shoot the ball well, but in the last 5 minutes, it's what great players do. He took over the game, Corbin, and he said, you know what? This is my team. I sat there and watched him right behind his bench. It was behind both benches, the YGC bench and the BTI bench during that game, kind of, just taking it in. A fantastic game, fantastic teams. He literally looked his coach in the face at the end of the game and said, I want the ball. I'm taking this shot. And what did he do? He went out there and won the game for him. So that's the type of player that you want. There's a reason North Carolina just offered. And I think you're going to see just about any place Nicholas Kamania wants to go, he's going to be able to go, Corbin.
That is wild. That is wild. And like you said, yeah, the great ones find a way to get it done regardless, right? That's something though. That is really, really cool. But moving right along, BTI, like great weekend for them. Another team, another player. Let's start with Evan Stirk of Team Scoot. I think that another team that was solid. Another player who's picked up some offers. What'd you like from Team Scoot and Evan specifically this weekend?
I got to be honest, this was a surprise to me. Team Scoot has not played well at times this season. They've really struggled to gel. And I think now you're starting to see with Ethan Carter, Evan Stirk, they are starting to gel. And the fact that they went 4-0, we've got a big standings update coming this week. We're going to hold off on that tonight. It is going to come at a later point this week because the Pro 16 finals are set. And I'll just say Team Scoop made a big jump. Now, did they make it far enough to get into where they needed to be safe? That we'll have to see later on down the road. But the
Ooh,
fact that they went 4-0 and came in and won 2 Saturday, won 2 Sunday, I was very impressed. And you got to give a lot of credit to their coaching staff and the development that they've done with these players, because they've come a long way since the first week of the season.
that is cool. And I think you gave that a really good point about the end-to-end development, weekend in, weekend out, of teams coming together. So that is really dope. And again, that was quite the teaser for the standings update. So stay tuned for that later on, coming out this later, not this show, but coming up. So just stay tuned on that. But that's cool. You love to see teams come together, bring it in, and the results kind of speak for themselves here. And speaking of results, speaking for themselves, got enough squad to really go into. Now Shanku obviously can be with us tonight, but he is very high on this team, and this is Rogue. You could say two of their wings, Ethan and Tate Sage, two brothers here. They lead in their squad. They had a tough schedule. They had a really big win. Like I said, you get Shanku turn on this team, and he will go on about them. So in lieu of that, we're gonna have you, Matt, kind of share what did you like about Rogue? What did you like about Ethan and Tate specifically? Obviously, the offers they've already picked up, and I imagine that there's plenty more to come. It feels like they had a statement weekend these past couple of days.
This is what our league's all about. You give these next programs opportunities. Certain programs rise in those moments. Certain programs kind of deflate. And we saw some programs that deflated and didn't have their best stuff in Wichita against the better competition. Rogue is the complete opposite. Ernie Barber, great coach, gets his guys ready. Destin Edwards running the point for them. The Sage twins, they are a loaded group, and they can compete with any team on this circuit when they're playing their best ball. Sure, you could go down the list and say there are obviously more talented teams, but at the end of the day, everybody laces their shoes up the same, and everybody has to go out and play and execute. And this team does that. And to beat a top 5 team in the Pro 16, 17U standings in select basketball, I said it going into the weekend. It's kind of like the Spider-Man meme. They were looking at each other because they're very, very similar teams. Where they're very skilled, they play the right way. They're not super athletic, but they do so many things effectively, both teams. That was a really, really exciting game. Just an exciting finish where Rogue was able to come back, and after a made 3 from select basketball, hit a big bucket, a tap in from one of the Sage twins. Both the Sage twins contributed down the stretch in that game to win them the game. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't want to make it just like it's only them, because they have other talented players. But the fact that they went undefeated with that schedule that they had says a lot. That it would be very hard pressed. They would have to go 0-4 to miss the Pro 16 finals for Phoenix. So again, they've got to take care of business this week. But that would probably be the biggest shock I would ever have in 11 years of doing this, is if they didn't win a game this week, because they're just too good. And they've shown that all year long. So you got to give Rogue a ton of credit. And I can't wait to see how they finish down the stretch, not just in the Pro 16 finals, but also in the next finals, because at this point, you have to put them up there with the favorites without a doubt.
Wow, that is cool. And like you said, big win, like select. I've been talking about them in the last couple of shows. They are not nowhere near a slot. So that's really, really cool to take care of business that way. And like you said, lace up the same way, get it done on the court. So speaking of getting down the court, Team Spates, same thing. They had some good wins, beating Nebraska Supreme. They're another solid squad. And you look at Jacob Daniels, a guard, Shanko's high on. You look at Isaiah Medina, a big. What do you like from those two? What do you like from Team Spates in general? Again, another team. I feel like I'm going to say this all the time, but played well, took care of business, got good offers.
Well, and you're seeing it too, specifically when you talk about Isaiah. He just picked up an offer just recently, literally moments ago, from Jacksonville. So Division I offer, big time opportunity for their club to be able to do that. Mo was actually in person. Mo's awesome. He does a great job giving back to this his community, to kids. Mm-hmm. He's been doing it for a long time. He even was doing this, Corbin, when he played back when I met him. I want to say he was with the Magic. So he was still playing and was giving back. So just an absolute great dude. And to go 4-0 on a big weekend like this, again, they're kind of the same spot as Rogue. They would really have to screw it up in Cincinnati, where they go this week, to not make the Pro 16 finals. But it is possible. So you still have to perform. You still have to do those things and take care of business. but they definitely took care of business very well. Jacob Daniels, very talented. I think he'll pick up some offers soon. And, you look at Isaiah picking up the offer he just got, Division I from Jacksonville. Says a lot. Again, once again, another next program. They got opportunities because they earned them. Again, our league, you have to go out and earn these games. You don't just get handed these. But if you're able to earn these into the spring live period like both those clubs were, there's big opportunities there with college coaches watching of all levels.
Absolutely. That is dope. Shout out to Team Spates. Shout out to Mo Buckets. That's cool. Love that. Landon short of Juno Elite, another guy who got another offer, I think, from UTD. Again, another guy that Shanku thinks could get D1 offers, played well, and so did Juno Elite, another team that ran the table. Did you see anything that popped out to you most from either Landon specifically, the team in general? Kind of what did you like from them?
Yeah, Landon is a really talented guard, but it doesn't just stop with him. They've got a really good team. Most of their games, they played in front of 30 or 40 college coaches of all levels, and I think that speaks to a lot of what Jamal Shedd's program has been. Obviously, Jamal, kind of an underdog. He ends up being an All-American, and he's going to be an NBA draft pick here pretty soon. So it's cool to see, again, similar to Mo Spates, Jamal's been giving back with his program in any way that he can, time or whatever he has to be able to do. He's been doing that for several years. And now, of course, he's the big star. He was doing it, though, before then. Similar to if you've watched the video where he was picking up the trash after a game. Like, that's just Jamal. Jamal is awesome. His family's great. They're a big part of this program with Juno. And I think you're seeing the offers are going to come. Maybe it takes a little bit longer for some others. Maybe it doesn't. But, again, it's Tuesday. I think you're going to see some more rolling throughout this week. And this is another club that they've got an opportunity with what they've done. They can't screw it up. They're very close. They're knocking on the door to get into Phoenix, which would be a very big deal for them.
Wow. Way to climb, way to be consistent, way to get after it for sure. For sure. Definitely. Going to another team, really solid win against Factory, which is really good squad. Off to you. Came together, had a solid completion of games. The game against Factory was not like it was a nail biter. It was down to the wire. And Hayden Wood, a player for them who apparently is a guy who's a standout in terms of potential offers coming in. Somebody I think is going to be on the stock up watch for sure moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt. I think you look at what he was able to do this weekend, and he did pick up an offer, which is really cool. It's always cool when players are able to do that. His averages, he averaged 19 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists, and 2 steals. Shot 46% from 3 and 63% from the field. Absolutely incredible what he was able to do. And I think as you look at just, where he's at, it's only going up from here. His offer came in from Hardin University, Division II school in Arkansas, where he's from. So once again, opportunities were presented. Off to you took that on and was very tremendous.
Wow. Yeah, that is solid and way to be efficient. I mean, some of these scoring numbers is one thing to score buckets, and I love it. But like you said, be able to kind of get a shot at a good clip for you and to be solid in that way. That way to be on that for sure. Let's go on to Pro Level Titans. They took care of business and it wasn't close. I think the closest game they had was 14 points, and they played in a pretty interesting pool. Can you kind of go into pool AA for us, Matt?
Yeah, so I think people, they look at those pools and really the double up pools, if you saw a double letter, it was a good pool. So in case people didn't understand that, it's always complicated, but there was a lot of pools. So you kind of run out of letters at some point to be able to present. But no, it's impressive. They're on a 9-win streak at this point. Say that really fast, 9-win streak. But they are on a 9 game streak, and I think you don't do that without players. And again, they're another club that they put themselves in position. They've got to finish well, but they've got an opportunity to be a really good seed in the next finals and potentially find their way in if they can finish really strong and have some help to the Pro16 finals in Phoenix.
Okay. Wow. Well, here you go. Making their own luck in this way. Well, not even luck, really just making your way in. Let's talk about the Quad City Shockers. Kavion Hodges, guard, dude got athletic gifts. The dude can move, the dude can jump. What did you like about one? I just love the name. So Quad City Shockers, they up there for me. But like, what'd you like from the team? What'd you like from Kavion Hodges specifically?
Yeah, Hodges is a two-way super athletic guard that can really shake some things up for them. And he was a big reason why they went undefeated again, another club that I would assume we're not doing the standings tonight, but when we do get those later on this week, they're going to be a club that moves way up because of this performance. So very, very big deal.
That is solid for sure, for sure. Another team similar to the pro level Titans, they took care of business, the Michigan Hurricanes, which that's a name. I love it, but they didn't have any close. They didn't seem like they had any close games, right, Matt? Like they kind of took care of business in a major way.
No, they definitely did. The Michigan Hurricanes have been able to come in and be super effective. When you look at what they have on their roster, they've got a lot of talent, including some young talent, some of the best young talent in the league that we have. Some of those guys playing up. So, quite frankly, I think as you look at what they bring to the table, there's a lot of opportunities there for them to really excel. And they had a tough weekend before this, and this was the bounce back week. So you got to give them a lot of credit for showing that, hey, we deserve to be in those better pools and higher on the standings.
Mm-hmm. And just to kind of ask you a kind of sidetrack question here, you're talking about bounce back. How important with this live session kind of in the rear view, but moving forward for teams that, let's say, we have another session coming up. Let's say it's a rough one, but like the importance of, okay, regaining composure, coming together and trying to say, okay, we can still take care of business and still try to make a path for ourselves as we move forward, with the goal of obviously going to Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix is there, but I think people should also keep in mind everyone's going to, in the next section of our league, everyone is going to go to Lincoln and Omaha at the end of the year. There's 2 tournaments there. There's the next finals, which is the top 150 teams at each age. And then there's the NIT, the next invitational, which is the teams that miss out. No one wants to miss out, but also you want to be a good seed in the next finals. You want to give yourself an opportunity. Now, we did see last year the bottom seed in one of the ages was able to go pretty far. So it doesn't mean that you can't go far, even if you're seed 150 or 148 or 149. It's still possible. You got to just get in the tournament. That's obviously step one.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that is no matter what, you got to continue to perform. And if you have a bad week, okay, that's one thing. There's some teams that have had 1-3. There's even a club that had an 0-4 weekend that if they went 4-0 this weekend, they might make the Pro 16 finals just because they haven't lost since the 0-4 weekend. So it can happen, but it's all about consistency in this league. It's not going to be, you're not going to make the Pro 16 finals from one great week. You're not going to make a really great seed in the next finals with one great week. You've got to be able to put together multiple weeks, and the Pro 16 finals, they will be set after this weekend, both on the Pro 16 side and the next side. And then obviously the next finals, they won't be set until we play out through July. So those have a little bit longer, still some seeding that could be battled for.
Wow, I like that. So basically, if your team, still not at the bottom, but you're not at the top, let's say you're trying to get there, you can still make your way to a possible Cinderella story. But if you don't have to do that, why? Right?
Right. And I think it's important for those that, again, there's a lot of new people that are watching this, that it's their first time, maybe as a parent or a player for our league.
Mm-hmm.
Last year in Nebraska, we had tons of college coaches. We're expecting over 100 small college coaches from the D2, D3, NAI, JUCO level, which is where a ton of kids, that's where 99% of the kids in the world are going to go, is to those levels. That's You're talking to someone right here that went to a Division II school. And at the end of the day, getting your education paid for is the biggest step of this whole thing. If you can go to Division I, it's great, but that's the 1% of the 1% that is doing that. So there's a big opportunities there at the end of the year. And, if you look at the top 150 standings right now, you're going to have to go close to 500 or at least come within a couple games of that to be able to make that top 150. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, then you obviously be just like the NCAA tournament. You'll be in the NIT, our version of the NIT, then the next invitational.
I like that for sure. Speaking of things I liked, AUSA Jordan, another squad took care of business. Matt, what you got? I mean, we got a commitment. We got Will Mortimer. I think I'm saying that right.
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk about the squad.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, AUSA is out of Australia, and they were able to get tons, and I mean tons of offers. We're going to go through all the offers that we know of right now, and I say that we know of because there's going to be more that are coming. But yes, Will was able to get an offer, and the whole goal of this team, that they come over from Australia for 4 weeks. So they played in our stuff for 4 straight weeks. This was their 4th week. Will picked up this offer from Colorado Mesa. His whole goal was to play in America. He is realizing that dream, and he's going to go to a great program in Colorado Mesa at the Division II level. And same can be said for Marco Doyle, who is one of their best players, if not their best player, I think, in their program that they brought over. He even picked up a Division I offer. We'll go through all of his, but they had a fabulous weekend. Not just that team, but as a program, very talented. They have the best players from Australia coming over. So we're very happy to have them. And they'll have, their teams back, actually even a few more teams than they brought this time around. They'll have in July, both in, I believe, Vegas, Phoenix, and Indy. So a 3-week stretch there.
I love that. What a story. Like, that is really, really cool. And I love the fact that, between the circuit, you have teams from all over. You got the foreign flavor as well. That is just really, really cool. Wow. Another team, again, shout out to them, took care of business, Rocky Mountain Fever. They came, they saw, and they got it done. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any particular notes on them, but yeah.
No, listen, they're a club that has had ups and downs throughout this season. And the fact that they were able to rise at the right time, go 4-0 in the main gym at the 17U level, I think says a lot. And I saw they just had a player on their team commit to a local JUCO, which is awesome. Again, that's what this thing's all about. So very, very excited for him.
I don't know what's more exciting, like hearing these or like literally getting like, oh, this guy just committed like within like minutes of the show, hours of the show. Like it's been so crazy. And that's, again, the power of the circuit, the power of this whole thing, but it's how cool that is for the players, the power of them making that happen. But wow, way to get it done. Lastly, just kind of close out 17U. Again, shout out to all the teams. Way to go undefeated, especially on a platform such as this. Like, way to really, go in, lock in, and get that thing done. But Missouri Fight Black, not only did they do that, but they got another big win against AO Flight. What did you like from them? That's big time.
Yeah, Dale Lamberth and his program have always been really good with Missouri Flight. Dale does a great job developing kids in his area and the surrounding parts of Springfield, Joplin, that whole area there. If you just take a big circle of 45 minutes, he's done a fabulous job with the program. And I think this is the testament. Again, they always seem to get better down the stretch. And you're seeing that here with this group. So excited to see how they finish out the year. I think they've got a lot ahead of them with the road that they've got. And again, going 4-0 at the perfect time in my books.
I like that. Listen, so I'm going to take 2 words from you. You got excitement, you got perfect timing. Well, that's 3. Can't count. We're going to combine all 3 right now by bringing in our first guest. And we talked about him a little bit in detail when we covered BTI United. But now we're going to actually talk to him, and that would be Nick Kamenya. Nick, solid weekend. Way to be. How are you?
No, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Always exciting.
Nick, I think we got to start with, obviously, you picked up an offer from Tennessee and North Carolina, most notably. Those 2 schools are added to the big list that you already have. What does it mean for you to, let's start with the Blue Blood. That's obviously the one that, everybody knows, the Carolina Blue, to be able to obtain that offer after the great weekend you had.
I think it's really cool. You grow up dreaming about things like that. You grow up watching those kind of schools. Whenever you think about North Carolina, you think about Michael Jordan and him going there. They made it to the Final Four just a couple years ago. I've been talking to the staff for a while now, so it was really cool to get that offer.
And then with Tennessee, Rick Barnes, he was there on the baseline on Sunday watching you, and they decided to obviously jump in the race. Rick Barnes been all over, mainly, I guess most people probably know him at Texas and Tennessee. He must like orange. But again, another great program that now you've got the option to go to.
Yeah, I mean, that's just another great one. Coach Barnes, I mean, he's done it. He did it at Texas, and now he's doing it at Tennessee. He's coached really good players, so it's also an exciting one to get.
That is cool.
Now, going 5-0, for those that don't know, you and I have talked a lot about this, but last year you started 0-4.
Yeah.
You've come so far from then, and not just you, the team. Guys like Peyton White, Isaiah Johnson, who were on that team a year ago, and many others. Kind of wrap that into the best way you can describe just how far you've come personally and then the team as a whole.
Man, that first week last year when we were in St. Louis, it was a battle. Just because every single game that we did lose that weekend came to like the last couple of possessions, and we just couldn't pull it out. So I mean, starting off this year in the live period, going 5-0 after having 2 previous pretty good weekends, going 3-1. I think it means a lot for us, and we know that we played really good competition throughout the whole weekend, playing all Pro 16 teams, and doing that and going 5-0. It was big for us.
For sure. That was again big time. We were talking about Matt was describing, like you said, the variety of opponents, but one thing that couldn't be understated was the quality, right? And so that was really, really dope. But also another kind of takeaway question from just the way you played, like the efficiency. I mean, and not just on like some, I mean, no disrespect to wide open jump shots, because if you can get them, take them, but like on some tough shots as well. Like, how did you kind of get to your shot? How did it feel just getting to be as efficient as you were over the course of the weekend? Because that's big time in shot creation.
I mean, yeah, I did make some tough shots, but it was also my teammates believing in me, my coaches believing in me, putting me in those positions to get those kind of shots. I mean, you can say that I had a solid, efficient weekend, but I think it was one that I could have done better in as well. I think I'm better shooting the ball than I did this past weekend, and I know it's going to be something that I'm going to get better at in the next couple of sessions coming up in July. But it was super fun. Made some tough shots, made the game winner. That was super cool to give us that win over YGC. I think that was probably the first time we had a lead in that game. So, yeah, it was fun.
No, yeah, made that was a nice game. Like, y'all team definitely came together and made for a really good show there. And kind of speaking of your team a little bit, can you kind of describe the team, I guess the overall connectivity, the vibe? I mean, like I said, in doing that, maybe describe the live session with a lot going on, a lot of high pressure games. Yeah. Obviously, the eyes are there. Like, you can definitely see that. But for your team to really come together, stay focused, like, how can you kind of go into, the overall team mentality of being able to do what y'all did, and that's win at a high level?
I mean, I think for that to happen, it starts off the court. Usually after every practice, we somehow find ourselves all going together to get something to eat. I think that goes a long way. We're all super close off the court. Even when we're at the hotel, we're all doing something together. Whether it's icing together, getting treatment together, like we're just doing everything together. Whether it's getting food, meetings, everything is just as one unit. So when it comes to those tight games, when it's a loud crowd, and you need to communicate, that's when that kind of chemistry comes through.
That's awesome.
Last year, we obviously saw in our league, AO and One Family had the game of the year considerably in Wichita. It wasn't very close, but just the atmosphere was incredible. Nick, I felt like we had that. You could tell it better than me because you played on the court. I felt like that was maybe 8 or 9 games this weekend. Felt that way. But maybe the most notable, the YGC game that you guys played against them on Peacock.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was about as good as it gets.
Yeah. I remember last year watching that AAO flight game, One Family game from the sideline after our game had just finished. That game that we just played this weekend being at like 9:00 at night, and that many people being there, it was crazy. It did feel just like that game from last year, watching it from the side. Being in it, it was super cool.
And then I got to talk to you about what I thought was your best performance that possibly I think I've seen in person. It's up there. The way you played Ace Bailey with Harvard Westlake this year was very impressive, just with Ace's talent and how you were able to be efficient and very, very good in that game. But to have 36 points, 13 rebounds on 12 shots against SA Future, it was as if you could just literally do whatever you want. How did that game feel, just with the ball going through your hands, really running the point guard spot and kind of getting to any spot you wanted?
I mean, earlier in the day, we played Team Museum, and I kind of got off to a really slow start. Felt like I was moving slow. So after that game, just looking back on it, I knew what I had to do better. So going to the hotel, that's all I was thinking about. And then when we got there and we started that game, it kind of just started off by going to the basket, getting to the free throw line. I made 15 free throws that game, so I mean that helps a lot. Getting to the line early, you see the ball go through the rim a couple of times, so it helps.
And we'll let you go on this one. You've got USA coming up this weekend. You're headed to Colorado Springs. Obviously, wish you the best of luck to make that team. That's a really big honor to be a finalist for the team. Work to do there, and I'm sure, knowing you, you're always going to be working. So give me your goals to just kind of finish out this summer that you have.
Well, that's going to be the first one for sure, to go and make that team. then go back to high school, hopefully win Section 7. Then this summer for sure end up on top of the Pro 16 league.
Who do you think is the toughest competition at this point? I feel like you've played all the best teams, so give me. Yeah, what do you think?
I think YGC is probably from top to bottom. I think they're the toughest team.
Interesting. There's some good ones. It's a balanced league, TLBA right there too. So it's going to be a fun finish. So hopefully
every game's a dogfight.
Yeah, hopefully those I'm excited to see those games in July. So thanks so much, Nick. Best of luck this week at USA. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Man, that's fun. That's fun. That, like you said, every game's a dogfight. But that was interesting. That was an interesting answer. I like it though.
I think he's right from the standpoint of, I mean, it's just hard to go against a team like YGC with how loaded they are depth wise. I mean, their 8th, 9th guy off the bench are very, very talented guys from top to bottom. But I will say, TLBA, man, oof, they're right there at this point. I mean,
they've been picking a steam for
real. They
real.
are. I think a lot of people thought, okay, Eli Ellis, Isaac Ellis, super talented, and they are. There's no doubt about that. Those two, very, very talented. But man, they got a lot more. So we will we'll get to some of that stuff here in a minute. But I think, Corbin, as we look through some things, there's definitely some eyes that will be up on that. So let's talk a little bit about 16U. Some of those teams are undefeated, and then for those that are hanging on here, we've got a lot of player offers and stuff to still go through from the weekend.
Plenty of stuff for sure. But if we're going to 16U, got to start with Grind Family Chicago. Saw a little bit in the chat, somebody brought it up. We were getting there, and now we're here. Listen, they took care of business. They did it in a major way. 3 games, I think they won by over 20. What did you like from them? I mean, AJ Chambers is the player I kind of want to spotlight here. We're going to kind of run through a bunch of these. We had a lot of teams do it in a really good way here. So really want to shout everyone out here. But let's start just with AJ Chambers and then Grind Family Chicago. What'd you like from them? Because these aren't just victories. These are, I don't want to say flawless victories to quote Mortal Kombat but some dominant victories here.
No, they're really good. And the fact that they were able to beat such a high-level Pro 16 team says a ton. I mean, it says an absolute ton about their squad. They're always tough. Any team from Chicago, they're going to bring that grit and toughness. I've never seen a team from Chicago that doesn't show up and give people problems. That's just the reality. But I think you got to give them a lot of credit. And the fact that they were able to do it on as big of a stage as they did it on, it's going to go a long way. I'll say that again. We're not doing standings tonight, but it's going to go a long way for them.
You dropping plenty of teasers, Matt. That show is going to be one to really hop in on and get some popcorn for sure. But moving right along to Hard Work Elite, you had Kevin White, you had Caleb Evans, just a solid squad. Another team that were undefeated. Did you have any standouts from them that you liked?
Yeah, I think as you look at them, they were very, very talented across the board, but you got to talk about Kevin White and Caleb Evans. Those two, I think that duo really led the squad. And again, another team that is, really pushing hard towards down the stretch of where you want to be.
For sure. Definitely. Another squad. Listen, one family. I mean, they were the team that first gravitated to me when I first got on here and was watching the documentary and really getting on board, but they had some big wins. One they had against Team Oklahoma, which seen them in action. They're no slouch at all. But they had another good one as well. I don't know if you're able to kind of catch them or see the opponent that they faced, but a really good win for them.
Yeah, to be clear, you're talking about the One Family Next squad at 16U. So,
yes.
I mean, they've got multiple teams, obviously the Pro 16 level, now Next. The big thing for Lee Loper and Daryl Harden this year, the two program directors, is we're a program. And I would say at this point, yes, they are a program. A lot of people would have quantified them a year ago as they're a team because they had an incredible 17U group that won the Pro 16 finals last year. At this point, they are a program. They're very balanced. Their next teams are very talented. Their Pro 16 teams are very solid. They've got a lot of talent that they've accumulated. And for this squad to go out and beat a BTI prospect squad that can play Team Oklahoma as well as, obviously 2 others says a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Really making, I mean, not even just making a name, but continuing to build on that for yourself. Definitely. What did you like about the KC Shockers orange or QC Shockers orange Quad City? I don't know why it's a KC. I'm thinking of another team altogether, but the Quad City Shockers orange, another squad, took care of business. 16U. They had 2 standout players. I don't know if you were able to kind of popped out to you. But between Spencer Bia, I think I said that right. Spencer Bia, Carter Light. Did you like anything from them specifically that popped out to you?
Yeah, both had a really good weekend. Carter specifically, I think he's been the guy that I've seen more out of those two. And again, they don't get to where they are without those two. They also have some depth, and that I think helps them. Depth really helps them these type of weekends because in the live period, Corbin, we saw that these teams, there's just a different level of defense. There's just a different level of intensity that at the end of the day goes a lot further than I feel like the other tournaments. And a lot of that is they're seeing right in front of them college coaches. And we all know, and for parents that don't know, I'll explain it to you the best way I can. College coaches these days, it's changed so much than 5 and even 10 years ago. They're not watching 16U and 15U anymore. They're just not. If there's a player that's really, really nationally talented, then sure, they'll pay attention a little bit. But even some of our guys that are really, really at the high level of 2026, you got to play up to be able to get that attention. Like the 17U just get. It's just the way it goes. So I think that it's kind of more bide your time, but you still see them in the gym. And there is just, I think, some anxiety. So the fact that you're able to go through that, the defensive intensity is higher level, everything's just a little bit higher level than it typically is.
No, I like that. And you could definitely tell that the intensity was palpable. I mean, even watching on Twitter, retweets, Instagram, all of that, whether it's the crowd, whether it's the players, everything just ramped up to 100. So definitely feel exactly what you're saying. All right, so I'm going to group some of these teams together and just have you pick out a player or a standout if you'd like here from just a few, just because we had a lot of teams over here that did some really good work. So shout out to you all. But you had Kansas team 2026. You had Oklahoma Chaos Bruner. Hope I said that right. You had KC Red Storm and Oklahoma Mindset. So 2 teams in Oklahoma, 2 in Kansas. Did you like anything pop out to you from those set of teams?
Yeah, I'll give you 1 player from Kansas, 1 player from Oklahoma. All like 4 obviously did very well. The kid from Oklahoma I'll give you is Ricky Bruner, who is a really talented guard, very quick, can get to his spots, and he did so this weekend. Had a very, very big weekend for Chaos. They needed this. This is huge for them in the standings. So shout out to Ricky and his squad because that was a really, really big opportunity that they were able to do. Fabian Harris is another guy on that squad that performed very well. For Kansas, picking out a squad there, I'll give 2. Jet Pyle, he can really fill it up. He had a great weekend for Kansas team 2026. He's going to be a player that a year from now is really getting college interest. And then I got to pick this name because it's just an awesome name, first off. But Eddie Romanos, he was by far the best player for KC Red Storm and was a big, highly productive player for them that led them to that 4-0 weekend.
I like it. Gave us 3 for the price of 2 there. I like it for sure. Let's give you another set of 4 here. We got AAL Flight next. Got Fam Elite Scott. Got the Iowa Barnstormers Black. And Oklahoma Chaos James. Another Oklahoma Chaos team, different squad, same 16U. All 4 again, taking care of business. Anyone pop out to you from those 4?
Yeah, I think Zach Whitliff for Fam Elite Scott had a fabulous weekend for them. He was one of the top scorers in efficiency in the 16U that we saw all weekend long. And again, there's a reason these teams are going 4-0. They've got really, really talented dudes.
For sure. Most definitely. And then I'm going to take the last 5, group them all up for you. We got South Sound Roots Academy, got C4 Attack, Iowa Barnstormers Gold, PRO16. We got the Nebraska Supreme 16 team, and then, of course, Select Basketball. Again, another great group of squads as well. 5 out of all the ones that we mentioned. And some good talent on there. Is there any one player that popped out? You can name 2 if you'd like. But one player that really popped off the proverbial page for you?
Yeah, I mean, again, with the names you just named, there's a lot that you could throw in there.
Yeah,
and I mean an absolute ton. But I would throw in Will Gertie's with Iowa Barnstormers Gold Pro 16 squad. Will is a big part of why they are a Pro 16 squad in the 16U. And I think he has an extremely, and I mean an extremely bright future. You look at that along with Noah Smith of Grand Park Premier and several other guys that I don't want to leave anybody out. So I will hold my breath here. I don't want to offend anybody by leaving them out. Donovan Chris, the 16U has a lot of players, but that Pro 16, 16U, there are some guys that, again, they're biding their time a little bit. It's not necessarily their year to be on the forefront, but they definitely have big opportunities in front of them as they move up to their 17U year here pretty soon. And look, in July, I think you'll see a little bit more of 16U being watched. But again, the reality is it's portal first, JUCO second, portal maybe third again, then high school seniors, and then the rest is kind of, hey, we'll see you when you're in your 17U year. So I know we got to move on quickly to Kelvin Odie, who's coming on the show. But I did want to go through 15U and just highlight some teams that went 4-0 there. So we'll be quick, but got to give everybody their love. Team Utah, 15U Black, they went 4-0. They've been a tremendous program all across the circuit and have really shined really, really bright. BYC Elite, New Mexico. Not only did they go 4-0, they actually had a kid get a scholarship offer. So
wow,
really doesn't happen very often for that age, but Isaiah Brown picked up an offer from New Mexico Highlands. So that's a really cool thing. BTI Pressure Elite, another program, Lincoln Supreme 2. Both those programs, they perform. One Family Next. Are we shocked? No, we're not. They went 4-0. So again, you're kind of seeing a trend here with certain programs. Off to you. Again, we're not doing standings tonight, but when those standings come out, I think you'll see that they make a big jump across all their ages. But quite frankly, their 15U going 4-0 is a really, really big deal. South U out of Texas and Colorado Hard to Guard Dean also go 4-0. Southwest Iowa Impact 4-0 out of Council Bluffs. Big, big weekend for them. The Bama Celtics, they have been coming, and I mean coming, all across as you look at the standings, bringing their best throughout the last few weekends especially, and they go 4-0 in Pool J. So congrats to them. A few others to round out the 15U, University of Hoops out of Texas and Louisiana Titans. They both go 4-0. Iowa Barnstormers Black and any Hoops Elite Hepburn go 4-0. And that wraps up the 4-0. In Pro 16, no club in 15U went 4-0. A lot of 3-1s.
Wow.
A lot of 3-1s. Southern Ties, we all can go. Select Basketball, SA Future, Coos Elite, One Family, BTI Select, all go 3-1, but no 4-0. So again, that I think speaks to just that competition is a little bit higher. It's a little bit different at the live period. It just is. It's a different dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, you've been basically saying it on your appearances on the show in general, leading up to this, how big it was going to be in the quality competition. So, I mean, shout out to all the teams because, like you said, you really had the best and brightest up here, and also to all the undefeated squads, ran the table, got it done, and like I said, you didn't get it done you got it done against teams on your level, some even maybe punching above weight, and just way to get it in. Like that's really all it's about. Like to come in, look at your opponents, be like, okay, one game at a time, walk out undefeated. That's testament to the way they played and the collective strength of the squad. So yeah, really just want to close that out by saying shout out to y'all as always.
No doubt. And I think again, there's a lot still to play for as these teams go through. There's a ton to play for. So a lot, still to be decided, I would say, from that standpoint. So let's get into we've got Kelvin who will join the show at some point here. But before he joins, let's go ahead and run down just the players. I mean, I tried to rattle off as many as I could on Twitter. There's more to be rattled off that will continue throughout this week. So forgive me if I haven't got to you. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to get to you. It's just a reality of time. You can only be up for so many hours of the day. But Corbin, let's get into it because there's some players that absolutely, really, in my opinion, elevated where we haven't seen them get to that point just yet. And some of them changed their lives this weekend. Some of them changed their lives with scholarship offers that, quite frankly, again, they didn't have, and now they do.
For real. And you again highlighted a bunch of them. A lot of players stood out it really was impressive. But we can start Cole's share of Colorado Collective, a guy who, I mean, you had the numbers. The dude popped off, and you were definitely impressed by the way he brought intensity to the game. So what did you like from what you saw from Cole?
Cole picked up his first Division I offer this weekend. That is really cool to see, and it won't be his last. He is a 2024, so he's looking for a home right now. There's a possibility he could reclass, so that's not off the table. But picking up an offer from Charleston State, and again, I don't think that's going to be the last one he gets. The game for me, that was really highlighted is when he went for 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists, and had one of the best dunks. I can't say the best because we had so many good ones. We would really have to. We're going to let the fans decide on that one because there's a lot of good dunks that we had. We didn't do top 10 tonight because again, there's a lot to go through. There's a lot to vote on. There's a lot to go through at this point. But it was nasty. It was over Team Museum, and somebody's going to get a big steal late with Cole. There's no doubt about that.
That is cool. And I'm definitely, like you said, the dunks all year, I've been really lucky to see a lot of good ones, but this week, this weekend probably took the cake on that for sure. Moving on though, and I've seen the next guy we're about to talk about, I've seen him on YouTube a lot before watching live, had the privilege of watching him live. I said professional scorer just to a T, but let's talk about Caden Edwards. The guy, I mean, again, like we've seen him get bugs. We've seen him generate shots at a high level. I'm a lefty myself, love the lefty jump shot, but what did you like from Caden this weekend specifically?
Yeah, Caden is an absolute dynamic scorer, and I think a lot of people maybe it's weird to me because he's so good at scoring that people try to start and they almost knock him that he's so good at scoring. Like, oh, well, he shoots the ball a lot. Okay, well, yeah, if you're really talented at scoring, why would you not? Like, that's what you do. He can absolutely fill it up. And when he gets going, he just needs to see the ball go through the rim one time. And once he sees it, it's on from that point. But he can get to the basket. He's shifty. He's athletic. But it's that shot. It's that jump shot, which, Corbin, I mean, you look across the NBA and college and obviously the high school grassroots scene. If there's one thing that I could tell a player to have right now that is maybe the most important skill over anything in basketball, it's being able to shoot the three-point shot effectively, which he does very well.
Oh, absolutely. No, a bucket from outside. And like you said, I think additionally adding on to that, one thing I really liked, I was talking with Shanku, I think it was last show, a couple shows ago, was the ability to not only, like you said, shoot a jump shot and shoot a 3-ball and shoot that efficiently, but also get to your jump shot off of the dribble. I think so many teams, and you kind of get into a rhythm of that, of, okay, we're moving the ball movement, good off-ball action to set up good shots. Great. Okay, when the defense gets tight, when it's going down to the wire, and the ball movement's going good, but so is the defense. Rotations are just as quick. Okay, do you have something to get into a jump shot? Can you rise up and knock one over contest? Like, those are the big money plays. And,
he can create, right? That's what you're getting at. Can you create? And Caden is one of the best creators in the country, in the entire country, in the 2025 class. If you put the ball in his hands, I'm not saying that the shot's always going in because no player is ever going to hit every shot. But what I will tell you is he's going to get an open shot. He's going to get a window to shoot the ball. And even if it's a tough shot, he's going to have a chance to make it just because that's how talented he is.
Absolutely. And something you said, I'm taking lean to the next person. You said making it look easy. We got to talk about, we're going to have him on here in a second, but Kelvin Odie, I mean, video game numbers, you can kind of go into a little bit because I was looking like, what? I mean, it's one thing to impact the game in a number of ways. I think that's what really good ball players, impactful players do. But to have such a series of games where your fingerprint is literally all over the game, offense, defense, that's wild. What did you like from Kelvin?
Watching Kelvin, I got a chance to see him in person in high school a little bit at South Kent. At South Kent, the way they utilize him is a little bit different than the way Nick Light and Rhode Island Elite utilize him. Okay. And again, everybody has their cup of tea. My cup of tea when it comes to Kelvin, and I'm pretty positive he'll agree with me here, is put the ball in the dude's hands and let him go to work because he is a point guard. He can absolutely dice the defense, and that's what we saw this weekend. We saw a whole different level of his game elevate. Certain players elevate in these moments with these live periods, but I got to say it's not very many, Corbin, because the reality is it's not easy to do. You've got all these college coaches looking at you. You've got your teammates. They're all trying to play well. Everybody's trying to play very effectively during these live periods. But the reality is the majority don't play well because they press, they put too much pressure on themselves. All the pressure in the world was on Kelvin this weekend, and he did nothing but perform every single game. Even if his team struggled, he did everything he could to try to lead them to a victory. And that's why he came away with multiple offers. And I don't think he's stopping at Creighton and SMU. I think there's going to be more that, end up jumping in the boat just with how talented he is, because he's not a one-way player. He scored effectively. He passed the ball effectively, but he's quite arguably maybe best on defense. He's really talented two-way player, super athletic, super great upside. And I think the ranking prognosticators, again, on this one, they're going to have to give Kelvin his due over time. The way he played this weekend and the way he's continued to play, he's playing as a top 50 player in America and putting everybody on notice.
Wow. Listen, all I got to say for that, Matt, is one, agreed. Two, that is the intro. I think that's the intro to bring on the player himself, the guest of the hour, the guy, one of, like you said, one of the arguably best two-play players we have here in the circuit. Let's bring on Kelvin Odie. How's it going, Kelvin?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, man. I'm doing well. Happy to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Kelvin, what was the deal this week? I mean, the reality is you played really well, consistently, but this week especially, you were able to take it up to another level with the college coaches there on the scene.
Yep. I just really think it was in my preparation. I know obviously the summertime is a big time for basketball, so just being prepared and preparing for those moments this whole season is where it really got me there.
Playing at the point guard spot, it seems something that, again, is a different way than you play in high school, but you seem very comfortable in it. Go through, I guess, really how you feel. I know you can play off the ball, you can play on the ball, but where was your comfort level with that? It seemed pretty high.
Yeah, I was definitely comfortable. I used to be a point guard, when I was growing up in my youth basketball and stuff. So just, I was very comfortable at the position. Like I said, like you said, sorry. I feel like I'm limited in positions. So
I was actually, that was my next kind of question, Kelvin. It's can you describe kind of your game? Because I see from what I've seen, basically kind of do it all type of player. But ideally, is that kind of the mindset of hey, I'm coming in from the point guard spot, we're gonna knock it in? Am I ideally, do I see myself as a combo forward? How do you look at yourself in terms of describing your game to let's say someone who hadn't seen that? Because again, you look at the numbers and you are literally everywhere.
Yeah. Honestly, playing with Rhode Island Elite, they just had me all over the place. So honestly, it's not really coming in for the point guard spot. It's more of whatever spot I got to play to win.
I like that.
Sure.
No doubt. And you guys obviously have a talented point guard next to you. Kind of the look of a two-guard lineup that can do it all. You got a talented group. Talk to me about what it meant to get the offers that you got. Creighton, obviously a very big-time Big East school. SMU just joined the ACC, 2 Power 5 offers. What did that mean to you just to see your work instantly turn into some offers?
It's definitely a blessing, like I said before, just keeping my head down and just continue to work. And, I just hopefully thought that work would pay off, and I'm definitely seeing a little of the light right now.
Can you kind of describe, I guess, you obviously came and performed under the bright lights, but describe the bright lights for me. You had a moment, you see the eyes, you see the intensity. Did you pick up a difference in the level in terms of not even the competition, but the level of competition in terms of how did you sense they played harder? Obviously had more people on you. Can you just describe kind of how it was in Wichita with, everybody and their mama there,
Yeah, nah. I just, every time I step on the court, I just try to go hard at all times. So I don't think I really have to change anything. Just, just play hard like I always do, and, block the crowd out. Just see, as I'm playing a regular game with nobody in the gym.
I like it.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Well, we'll wrap with this. Appreciate the time. What's the goals for you personally through the next couple months, as it's a big time for you with these 2 offers? And again, I'm sure you're not done this week. I'm sure a few more are going to roll in. You're going to have even more eyes on you in July. What's the goal for you? What are you trying to do?
My goal is, just to stay consistent in the gym and, continue to work, and hopefully everything will pay off.
Love it. Absolutely.
For
We're
sure.
seeing it now.
Sure.
No doubt. No doubt. Thanks, Kelvin. Appreciate you coming on. Great
Thank you.
weekend.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he's seeing the work. I mean, he's very humble, very, very humble. And that's something to be said for that. But he's seeing the work pay off now, and it's going to continue to pay off because he's put it in for a long time. And the hours in the gym, you know, I would tell you he's put in a lot. So he stays in the gym. Some players just are talent and gifted. And then the elite of the elite is what Kelvin is. He's talented and very gifted, but he's a hard worker too. He's got all of it because he's putting in the work. So
I like that. It's
very,
like you
very
said,
cool.
but there's old saying about the hard work being talent when talent doesn't work hard. But when the talent does work hard, well, now you got a problem.
Good luck.
Exactly.
I mean, some of the dunks he had, Corbin. Oh my gosh!
I saw a putback that was a monster.
It was
like flying into the frame.
He had some dunks that I was just like, goodness gracious! But that's what everybody talks about, and admittedly so, because like, look, that's when we do top 5 plays and stuff like that, and top 10. Well, that's what everybody loves, right?
That's what we love.
We do have the top 5 plays, by the way, coming up at the end of the show. So instead of standings, we're doing top 5 this week. But that being said, all that being said, we like the way he shot the ball this weekend. He is, in my opinion, shutting up the doubters of, hey, I can do this. He shot the ball very effectively, but he very low turnover rate. When he's got the ball in his hands, he had high usage this weekend, but low turnover rate, good assist to turnover ratio, shooting the ball well. And then he still did his athletic, crazy dunks, as well as on defense. The dude, literally, like that's the dude you do not want to guard you. No, you don't want him to guard you. As a Thunder fan, he's got some Lou Dort to his game on defense. Like legitimately, he's going to get in you, and he's going to make sure that you don't have an inch of room, and make it your life as difficult as he possibly can. So.
That is a monster. That is, I mean, and you said it. Oklahoma, you watch the ones who can do on both ends, I think, and pop out on this stage is something special. But speaking of special, we got a lot of the players that had some really good performances. So I want to start. I mean, we've watched this team plenty of weeks this circuit. I have a few guys I definitely like on this team, but world-class renegades. One of them, just to bring out in particular, like I said, a few standout guys, but Noah Show. Hope I said that right. I think I did, but he had himself a weekend, had himself a game in particular. What did you like from him all weekend and that particular game that he kind of went off? Again, speaking to efficiency, mad efficient.
He was really good in the game, particularly that he had where he scored, I believe it was 23 off the top of my head. Very efficient. He's got a chance to be a Division I player. That's what I would say. After leaving this weekend, Noah has a legitimate chance to be a Division I player. And I did not think that coming into the weekend. Again, he elevated, and there's just not many in this game that do elevate at the right time, and he definitely did that. You got to also talk about Martin Kophanger on that team. Martin has been so dang consistent. Look, I'm just going to say it to the camera right now. Division I's on the West Coast, if you are in a low to mid-major conference, so we're talking about the WCC, which, look, I know obviously they have some very high-level teams in Gonzaga and such, but they also have, some programs that are very talented. I'll try not, you know what, I was about to name off some. I'm not going to do that. But all I'll say is he should be having some offers in the WCC soon. He should be having some Mountain West offers come in throughout the year. He should be having some Big Sky, Big West. He should be having those offers come through.
Okay.
He is freaking good, and he's big. Can't tell you that I've measured him against the wall, but I would say he's at least 6'6", 6'7". He's got a long wingspan. He can shoot the ball really well. He is freaking good. So again, this is just my opinion. You can take it or leave it. But we watch these kids all the time. Martin is a Division I player who I even think, Corbin, he could end up at the high major level if he plays his cards right in July. But no doubt about it, he deserves more attention. He deserves more offers and spotlight than what he's getting. So that's what this show is all about. We give you the real. So and then one more kid. I could go on and on because they have a lot of players on that team.
Have a lot of
like a lot. But Jeremiah Harshman, point guard. The dude is the best vocal high school player in 11 years of doing this. He is the most vocal best point guard I've ever seen at being vocal and helping his team. But he's not just like a vocal player, like, oh yeah, this is that. Like, it's not just he's talking; he's actually really good too.
Yeah.
Again, he's another player that West Coast schools, hey, you might want to wake up because he's a guy that can play in many of those conferences from the low to mid level. And Ivy League schools, he's pretty dang smart. He'd be a guy to, you want to have him on your team. And
good culture guy.
He's also going to be a great spokesman. He's an unbelievable spokesman. He speaks so dang well. And, I just think that, again, he's a guy that people are missing out on so far.
Wake up.
Very soon.
No, for sure. Another, like you said, great guy. And I love the way you said about the talking, because I read a little write-up and I was like, yeah, he's always talking. I was like, that might come off negative, but it's not. Like, it's talking to his teammates. It's encouraging. Like you said, it's on and off the court and impact in a major way. So, yeah, shout out to the Renegades in general, but those players.
I got one more. I got one more.
Okay.
Nate Robinson's son.
I'm
gonna butcher how to probably say his name, so forgive me.
Oh goodness.
That's it. But
I was gonna let you try, but Niali?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, he can play too. And again, I can go on and on about this world class team. They have players.
Yeah.
They have players.
Yeah, he can see from three. That's for sure.
All right, we got more to get to.
We got more to go into. Yeah, that's true.
I'll digress.
We could keep, like you said, we could go on and on, but we got a lot here. But speaking of another team, and we mentioned them before we talked about 17U just briefly and talk about how they have some big name players, but they have more than just that. And that team would be TLBA. The player we're going to start with, I know we can go. Yeah, I already see you winding up, Matt. We can already go from there. But let's start. Let's just talk about them in general. We could talk about Caden Miller in the mix of that, because Caden Miller is a guy who popped out to you particularly. But this team as a unit, I mean, you see the Ellis brothers. Like, they balled out. The whole team balled out.
You start with the Ellis brothers, right?
Gotcha.
They bring the crowd. They bring an awesome atmosphere every game. Look, they are very talented. Eli is going to South Carolina. South Carolina's head coach, as well as assistants, were on the baseline for multiple games. There's a reason for that. Like, there's a reason for that. Very talented. The only games they've lost this season in the Pro16 Puma League is when Eli doesn't play. That's it. So very excited to see what they do when it comes to the playoffs, because I think Eli is one of the best competitors we have in our league. And there's a few of them in our league that really, really, really want to win and want to compete. We just talked to two, and Nick and Kelvin. Eli's right there in that group, as well as, several other players that they really want to win this league. And so I think when you look at Eli and Isaac, you got to start there. Isaac's a D1 player. He's young. He's a 2026. He's going to be a Division I basketball player. He's going to have, offers roll in. He's got interest from all over right now. We got to go past them, though, because they have some other guys, too. And it starts with Abu. Abu was freaking unbelievable. John, please roll the clips of Abu. Please give us some highlights, because this kid, he had the weekend of weekends to me. As you look through our league, I felt like Abu was the breakout guy that there were other breakout guys.
Whoa.
It was nasty. It was nasty.
Whoa.
Everybody knows that this kid's a three-point shooter, but again, the crossover, the jam. I won't say what school I was sitting next to, but I was sitting next to a very, very prominent school. And they were like, man, this kid's shooting the ball so well. I think for that game, he was like 7 of 12 from three-point range. So very, very good.
Yeah. Good volume too.
Yeah. He pretty much was at every game. It was like 7 of 13, 7 of 12, 7 of 12, 7 of 11. That's what his three-point. It was absurd.
Wow.
But they were literally like, Corbin, they go, can he take someone off the dribble? I haven't seen him do that yet. And then John hit the clip one more time. Because they said that, and then this happened right here. It was like, oh, can you take somebody off the dribble? Oh, God, yes.
There's your answer.
Yes, you can.
Yes, he can.
Oh my goodness! But
yes,
Abu, I mean, this is again. I'm so happy for all of our kids to get offers, but for young men that don't have any offers coming into our league, and I mean no offers.
Wow,
this is really cool. And he picked up multiple offers, so got to give him his flowers. Got to give him his love. Caden Miller is, he talks about him. We could really go down the whole list, but we'll end with him. And I could keep going. But Caden Miller had a great weekend. He is a 5-man that I think is really starting to figure it out. At some point in his career in college, he may end up being a 4, but he's a 4-5. He's a post. He's really in that dunker spot for TLBA, and he's having a tremendous season, rebounding, dunking the ball, starting to figure out how to really have that mid-range game as well. And I watched him the first session that they played in Indianapolis several weeks ago with head coach Jeremy Ellis. Jeremy Ellis, first off, again, people aren't going to give this man the credit that he deserves because, oh, well, it's this or it's a show, it's whatever. The dude can flat out coach. He's out coaching just about everybody in our league right now. I mean, he is an unbelievable coach. He's doing so much, and he's maximizing players' potential. And that's what I see that he's doing with Caden. With Caden, Jeremy has been able to, put him in a spot and develop him in such a short time frame because he hasn't been with them for so long that he's going to be not just a Division I player, Corbin, but he's getting calls and interest from schools, in the American Conference and of that level, that American Mountain West type level, where that's some really, really freaking good basketball. And again, it's just May. It's only May. Yeah. Like, he's going to have opportunities at the Division I level. Very excited to see what comes of him. So yes, we could go on and on. There are more guys for TLBA. They flat out perform. And again, Coach Ellis does a tremendous, tremendous job with that group. So somebody's going to have to step up to the table because I do think, again, there are teams that are deeper in our league, but there's a difference in talent and production in the moment. And right now, no other team has been able to outplay them. The closest team that got there was BTI with a full, I'm talking a full list. They've lost games without Eli, yes. But with Eli in the building and playing, the only team to take them down to the wire was BTI and Coos. I forgot about Coos. Coos, forgive me. I know y'all are going to be on my case for that. But both those teams took them down to the wire in Memphis. And then this week, I got to say, Corbin, I was a little disappointed. They just flat out ran over people.
Ran over.
Just,
wow.
It was disrespectful. Like, it was disrespectful. I mean, people, like, I wasn't expecting it, and I don't think a lot of others were. But they did.
They did.
What it is. You got to show up and play them. And they're going to play the matchup zone that people can't seem to figure out. Hey, all the other PRO16, 17U, listen, you better start practicing against it. You better start learning how to, run some offense against the zone, because right now, I don't know that anybody's practiced it from what I've seen.
It's definitely a puzzle for many. I'm gonna put you on the spot here real quick, Matt, because you mentioned a few teams here that got close. Do you see a team outside of the ones that that you already mentioned that you think stand a good chance of maybe shocking? I won't say shocking the world per se, but let's even keep it. I want to put you on a hot take city. You're the one who had to get the calls. Let's even just say, like, give them the best challenge. Let's put it that way.
I'll say this. The league is very clear right now. There's 6 programs, 6 teams, and I'm just talking 17U. There's 6 teams that are far and above in a little bit of a different tier. Now, that does not mean they can't lose. Let me be really clear. That doesn't mean they can't lose. But I think there's 6 teams that I could say, if we were doing some Vegas odds, which we will do on the show at some point, you can't gamble on them, but we'll at least tell you, like, hey, this is what we think. We'll preview Phoenix with that. We like to jazz it up a little bit. Again,
I like it.
You can't gamble. Maybe someday, but not right now.
Oh man.
But we'll give those odds. I think as you look at that, Corbin, there's 6 teams that would have maybe not. They would have great odds to win, and then after that, teams 7 through 14, kind of all in the same mix.
Okay.
Then you have teams 15 through 22 that I would be shell-shocked if they made a run to win it. Now, they may make a run. They may get to the Elite 8. They may even go to the Final 4. But I don't know that we have a team that can come from spots 15 through 22 and absolutely run the table.
Okay.
So,
no Giant Slayers incoming.
That's kind of where it's at. So let's keep talking players, though.
Let's go.
We got a lot.
We got another team that we're probably going to spend. We have a few players, like you said, to talk about. Let's talk about the Knicks of Vegas, the Las Vegas Knicks. I've seen that. I mean, we talked about them earlier as far as just being a straight up program at all levels. And I've had the privilege of being able to watch them at a few games. Obviously, I watched one with you. You watched a lot of them. Between the Knicks in general, between Quentin Rhymes specifically, what'd you like from this squad? This 17, I guess we're talking about here, 16.
Yeah, I'm just going to focus on Quentin as far as a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Lamar Bigby, the program director of the Las Vegas Knicks, the dude always, and I mean always, let's state this for the record. I already knew this, and I said this. He always finds a dude. Last year, it was JQ. He also had Pop, so I guess he had 2. I think he still may have 2 this year. But Quentin Rhymes is the kid right now, and you're seeing the highlights. The dude went off. He had 23 points and a half against Nebraska Supreme. He just picked up an offer from TCU. He just picked up an offer from Wisconsin Green Bay. More are coming. He's a very, very talented, athletic, can shoot the ball, as you see there, from 3.
Yeah.
6'7" wing.
Smooth too.
Y'all, 6'7" wings. Those are in the league.
That's some PG stuff right
They're
there.
in the league. That's what they are. And I'm just saying, this kid, just like JQ a year ago, he's got potential to do, endless things. Don't know where he'll end up. His recruitment's going to be really fun to follow. But again, Corbin, this is the really cool part about our league. It's what gets me so freaking excited to be here at 9:16 p.m. Central Time talking to you. Is this kid changed his life this weekend? He didn't have any offers coming into this weekend. Now he's got 2, and I'm being told, I don't have an earpiece in, but I'm being told that there's several more coming. So you'll just have to take me at my word. There's several more coming. One of them a high major from the Big Ten. So he is going to absolutely blow up. He's kind of already started, but I think in July you're going to see even more. People are going to watch this kid and go, shoot, man, yeah, if we can get him, he's got unlimited potential.
Yeah. No, I just got to share real quick because not only Rhymes solid, as you said, and just that Knicks organization in general. Real quick story. 2 weeks ago, I was watching their 16U play, and Lamar was on the sidelines. Coach, they were all just there playing. They were playing a really tough game, and this was one where it was like nip and tuck. It was the second half. I think it was like an 8-point game. If I remember correctly, I think it was MPJ Elite. I'm pretty sure that it was. And really, like I said, touch and go type of game. And there was a play, basically like one of the guys made like a dumb shot, went back on defense, tried to get like a foul, didn't get it, fell over. Lamar, the coach, like went off, took the team immediate timeout, said some choice words that I cannot repeat. But I was like, whoa, coached them hard, right? Again, 8-point game. It was like 8 minutes left in the second half. And I'm standing on the side, on the baseline with some of the other coaches, some of the other Knicks coaches, and we're watching the game. I kid you not. In that, it went from an 8-point game, okay, lockdown, score, lockdown, score. Next thing you know, maybe 7 minutes of actual real time, it felt like passed, and the rest were calling the game. And I went, calling the game? It's a close game. I look, and it's a 22-point lead. And I look at the Knicks coaches, and I go, when did that happen? They go, I don't know. It just turned up. And he looks at me, goes, got to coach him hard. And I went, yes, sir. Here you go.
Sir, yes, sir. Yep.
So,
that's coaches, right?
Yeah.
The best coaches know how to get whatever they need out of their team. Some
Exactly.
coaches, they can take the Lon Kruger approach, and, you never hear any choice words, and they're very calm. And some coaches,
they say what they got to say.
They're the opposite. I would say Lamar and his group and Denard, they're kind of in the middle. So they're not crazy by any standards, but they do get the best out of their kids. And a lot of that is they develop. You got to develop. And that's what they do. So
absolutely.
I know we got to keep going. But
yeah, we do. I'm sorry. I had to say that story because
we could be here till midnight if you'd like to be. We can keep talking about it.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I'm with you. I know we got to keep going. We could definitely do this more and more, but we'll save it for another time. Let's go into Southern Ties. Another solid team. Cam Paul was a guy that you were particularly impressed with. He had, again, we're going to talk about dunks, we're going to talk about all this stuff, but he had a monster one. Again, I say this every time, don't fly with me, but he had a one-handed. I'm like, yeah. What did you like about Cam Paul? What did you like about Southern Ties? Let's talk about Cam Paul specifically first, though.
Yeah, Cam's, look, we're calling how it is on this show. If anything, people will respect me for being honest. He struggled in Memphis a week ago. And it's incredible for guys like him to rise to the moment because look, these are 17, 18-year-old kids. They're going to have up and downs. We have up and downs as adults every single day. So that's just the way it goes. In the NBA, there's guys that have up and downs. Go ask Jamal Murray how he played in the last series. They all have up and downs.
Yikes, with the straight.
Sorry about that. But the reality is he stepped up in Wichita, and he was the Cam Paul that we'd seen earlier in the year and has been consistently. So he took that 1 week where, again, he wasn't horrible. He just had it wasn't like the Cam Paul we knew that was making a highlight every single second, but he was that in Wichita, and you're seeing the offers come in. I'm not going to list them all. We'll do those a little bit later, but literally it's like every moment, oh, let me check. Oh, he's got another offer. It's another high major school from another conference. Like the dude literally is getting offers from everywhere. And the reason for that is just the way he plays. He's so athletic. He's got that long, lanky build, similar to Quentin Rimes. Both of them have that NBA size. Like they have what an NBA wing looks like. And the reality is, if you can play and you have that size as colleges, I mean, you're sitting here like, shoot, look, every kid still has to develop, no matter who it is, whether it's, the number one player in the country or their number whatever, not ranked kid. Everybody's got development to do. No one is a finished product, but you see the potential with Cam Paul, and I think it's why the offers just keep flowing in. We got to talk one more kid on that team though.
Let's do it.
I could keep going again on their team as well, but Devon Scott, he also he picked up a Division I offer, his second here in just the last little month. He's shooting the cover off the ball, averaged 15 a game in Memphis, did it efficiently. He did it again in Wichita, and more colleges need to wake up and smell the roses with him. Devon Scott is going to be somebody that I promise you, if you wait too long, you will look silly in July, and you will go from, hey, we could have had a chance to we have no chance because we didn't recruit him, and now everybody else is in on him and we're screwed.
The price is just gone up.
It's just one of those things. Again, I'm speaking plainly. Like he's a guy that he's going to be a Division I player. He's now got 2 offers, and I think the more offers are coming with the way he's shooting the ball, because shooting is the number one thing you can do right now.
You said it. That's the way to stand out. That's the way to pop. For real. Like you said, plenty of other teams and squads to go into right now. So let's move on to Coos Elite. Didn't go undefeated, but they were pretty darn close. They had a pretty good weekend. What'd you like from them? I know Tyrus Rathenmays. I think I said that right. Okay. I know he popped out for you, especially shot really efficiently. What'd you like from? Oh, we got some highlights. What'd you like from the squad?
You're seeing Tyrus here to start off this highlight. He was incredible. He's picked up multiple Division I offers. Again, listen, we're going to a prototype at this point. Quentin Rimes, what does he have? Size and athleticism. The length at 6'6", 6'7". Cameron Paul, who we just talked about. Oh, by the way, Tyrus has the same thing. Like he's 6'7", long, lanky, can do so many things. He's number 10 that you see here. Very talented, but it's not just Tyrus on the squad. They have so much. But look at that. That is filthy.
That's
a filthy step back. Tyrus can absolutely go, but they've got a whole squad. And I mean, just as you look through here, there's a reason that all their guys, Ian Enman picked up multiple offers. Evan, the big, he picked up multiple offers. Nickel State offered several of the other guys. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to offers, so I don't want to go through all of them yet because
we're getting there.
But
we're gonna get there.
Man, oh man, they had one of, if not, I can't say they had the best weekend because BTI went 5-0, and they had the hardest schedule that you're going to see literally in the entire season.
Wow.
They played everybody in the top 5 except for TLBA, who they played.
Okay.
So,
but they got it back here.
They played them, and they beat them. So I think you look at what Coos did, though. Yes, they had the one loss to give a shout out to Factory, one of our next squads. They caught them. And they beat them in the right moment, and Kenny Mullins and his squad was able to really elevate in that game. And I think maybe catch Coos a little bit off guard. In this league, listen, doesn't matter if you are a top 6 team, which Coos probably is. You still got to show up every game. And outside of that one game, though, they absolutely not only showed up, they kind of embarrassed some teams.
Out. That's what's up. Wow. And like you said, the way Tyrus got to his moves, I like too. Like it's one thing to finish, another thing to kind of manufacture exactly where you want to go to convert. So yeah, way to ball both him and the team for sure. Moving on to one family and Cole Rosario, a guy that you definitely were impressed with. I think athleticism, kind of run the floor. Can you kind of talk a little bit more about him?
Yeah, Cole had a really big week. One family did not. They did not play well. I think
Mhm.
Daryl and Lee will be the first to say they were probably disappointed in what happened with their record.
Mhm.
But Cole was able to shine, and several of the other players still shine. The league is just tougher. The league is just deeper. That's just where it's at this point. But Cole picked up a couple offers, and I think teams are starting to see he's got good size, sneaky athleticism, can shoot the ball solid, and really competes. Any kid on one family competes. That's just what they do. And was able to pick up those multiple offers, and I think you're going to see more come in for him. He is just scratching the surface, and colleges are just figuring out just how good he is.
Wow. Yeah, most definitely. Speaking of another guy, well, not just figuring out how good he is, but knowing that this guy's good. We got to talk about Joe Sterling, who we've seen. The dude gets buckets. You were kind of impressed with his development, just kind of playmaking. But what did you like about him this weekend? Again, I haven't seen. He was one of the first I saw to really kind of get into the mid range whenever he wanted to. It seemed like, but he has a bag.
No, he has a bag. He's shooting. In our league, there's guys that can make really tough shots. Joe is up there with all of them. Eli Ellis is probably in that group, obviously. Nicholas Kamania is in that group. Caden Bug Edwards is in that group.
Mhm.
Joe Sterling is in that group, and I'm sure I'm leaving out some others. Joe is really, really talented at that. He has to be. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, he doesn't exactly have a game where there's not 2 or 3 people coming at him.
True.
And he had some game winners this week, particularly in the game we're watching right here.
Ooh.
They were down like 10 points
Mhm.
late in the game. You see, he misses the first one, and he bags the second. I mean,
Yep.
the dude is super, 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 super talented. Most notably, that game was against West Virginia Gold. 2 other games where he was really good. 25 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists against one LaMelo Ball. 24 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists versus OTP, one of the best next teams in the circuit. But the dude showed up. He performs. And again, Corbin, guess what? He's playing up in age. He's a 2026. He's still got another year of this.
Heard that, yes. And you know what's funny? I hear it. It goes by, it passes. I hear it again. It's like I heard it for the first time. Like, it's crazy seeing him do what he does in person and know we got another year of watching this. That's wild.
Yeah, he's really special scorer. Very, very talented.
Wow.
Just picked up an offer, by the way, but again, we'll get to those later. So
I'm about to say that it's coming up. It's coming up, fastly approaching here for us. But I do want to ask you about one more team, one more player specifically. Aiden Chronister, another guy playing in the same type of level. Well, I want to ask you one more. If you have any more, of course, we'll throw out some more. We have some more. We got some more here. But real quick, on my end, that I really saw here, Aiden Chronister, dude balled out. What did you like from him? Another guy who can see from 3, and is he also playing up?
He is also playing up, and he's starting to figure it out. When you make that jump from 16U to 17U, it is the biggest jump in grassroots basketball. And quite frankly, look, some of the best players that we've seen come through in the last decade, they play 16U. They don't play 17U. This is a testament to Aiden Chronister saying, hey, I want to go out and be the best player. He could be at 16U right now, and he could be putting up all the stats in the freaking world. But he's not, because he's at 17U playing up, and his stats may not be as sexy as they would be if he was at 16U, but they're still really, really good. And he still had some very efficient shooting games. His team struggled right now. AO Flight, similar to one family. I mean, how about it? The 2 squads that were in the finals last year, by far the 2 best teams at 17U this year, both of them are waffling on the line of missing the Pro16 finals. They're both right there. It's going to come down to it. So again, you talk about the depth of the league.
Yeah,
it continues to shine there. The team is struggling, but I thought it was still very noteworthy that Aiden was able to still be pretty effective.
Yeah, and real quick, I know we're about to talk on another team here, but you kind of touch on a little bit. But can you speak a little bit more to, again, these players that are playing up, and just like you said, you're kind of sacrificing the numbers in a sense, because you could show up.
You know, you are to a certain extent, right? Nicholas Kamania, he played up last year, and he still had some flashes. He still had some games where he dropped 30. I think Aiden can do that. Joe Sterling, he's played up for 2 years now, and he dropped 40 something last year. So yes, it can be done, but it's harder. It's not as easy, and especially in the situation that Aiden is in. Same thing with Nick, and same thing with Joe in their times. Nick obviously is now playing his age, but last year Nick was on a team full of 60U kids. He was playing up with everybody.
Yeah,
so
that's
they
wild.
really struggled at times. They started the season 0-4, like we talked about earlier in the show. This year, Joe Sterling, he's got some guys that are starting to develop around him, but he does not have a star next to him.
Yeah.
And Aiden is the star of the team. And when you're the star, when you need to be the star of the team at a young age and you're playing up, again, I just think you're forced into development. And it's going to be a really good thing in the long run for Aiden, just like it has been for Joe, just like it has been for Nick and several other players that are playing on our circuit. Isaiah Ward is in the same boat right now. He's playing up in age. All of those guys that played up in the past or are playing up currently, it's not as easy to go out and get 40 or 30 like they're going to be able to do. But if you play your cards the right way and you develop, you'll see. I'm not saying every player can be Nicholas Commanda because look, he's one of one. You don't get offered by North Carolina and not be that dude. You just don't. But I think with Nick, he's showing you that if you do play up, the game slows down the next year. It does. Those that don't play up, they still have to make that adjustment the next year. And I think that's the part where, again, if you can play up and still be a prominent piece on the team, maybe you're not the number one option. Maybe you're the number 2 or 3 and you're playing up. I would argue that's better for the player than to go be the number one option on the team at 16U and you're just dominating, but no one's really giving you the competition you need to elevate.
No, I agree completely. I appreciate you giving that extra context for sure. Yeah, the learning curve is, I guess, easier kind of getting, you're feeling that, so yeah, definitely. Want to touch on a few more teams here. First, let's talk about YGC. Another solid squad, some standout players. What'd you like from that squad?
Chris Sinak is a pro. He's a pro. And listen, I don't like saying that about someone in high school, but I'm putting my stamp on it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. He's a pro. I mean, he's got some special tools in his bag, and it's on both ends. It's on both ends. He can block shots. He can rebound on defense. He can be effectively. He's so versatile on both ends because of how fluid that he moves. He just picked up an offer from Kansas as well as like 5-6 other schools. Probably has another 2 while we've been sitting here on the show. I mean, that's just kind of how his recruitment's going. He's a top 10 player in America. He's not there yet technically by the rankings, but my God, look at that. I mean, the dude has some special stuff to him. He just does. And when you see it, you see it. Anyone who has watched him in the past needs to come out and they got to watch him again because the way he's playing with the freedom that YGC is giving him, it's special. It's absolutely special. I mean, it just is. It's really one of those things that's just incredible. And then you're seeing Caden Bug Edwards here. Man, it's like I told you, he needs one shot to go in. One shot to go in, and Bug is going to be an absolute problem.
The floodgates are opened.
Problem. And he picked up an offer from USC and Creighton over the past couple of days. He's one of, if not, you put the ball in his hands, man. He's one of the best scorers in the country.
And, yep. See that jump shot we talked about. Yep.
He really is. He can score at the best of them. And again, I'm tired of people using this as a negative against him. It is not a negative he's great at something that you need to win. You got to score points to win.
That's kind of
every kid on our circuit and every kid in the country has things they got to work on, of course. Yes, but he has an elite talent to shoot the basketball, which, in my opinion, is the most notable skill you can have in hoops right now.
I think that like you look at higher levels, and I think those would agree with you, right? Like what is who's trying to surround?
Steph Curry change a game.
Yeah, so, you said it exactly.
Chris Sinak, y'all, I can't say it enough. The dude is special. Get out and watch this kid. I mean, he is special, and he's got a chance to be something. It really does.
That's what's up. That's why we come to watch. That's why we want to see this happen. That's really, really cool. Let's talk about another team. Love the name. You love the game. Team Museum.
Yes. I think you got to talk about Big Eric. Eric Reeby was incredible this weekend. He's the reason why they won the 2 games they won. And you see the 3-point shot there. Yeah, he's so dang skilled. Picked up an offer from Creighton. I mean, yeah, any school that does well with skilled bigs, if you don't offer this kid, what are you doing? Like, seriously, what are you doing? And you see him coming through the lane there. He's a legit 7-footer. He's more athletic than people want to give him credit for. He's got all of the upside in the world.
Nice stroke on
and
that
the shooting stroke.
Yeah.
Corbin,
Good size.
with the side. Who's going to block that shot? Nobody.
Nobody.
Look at the way he gets the ball down there in the paint.
On the
Come
nice touch with the
He
hook.
had no chance. He had no chance. What's he going to do there? I mean, literally had no chance. He's really
he's big time.
I mean, he's big time. Plays on the German national team. Not a lot of people know him yet. He is 48 in ESPN. Paul Biancardi, I'm going to give you your flowers, man. A lot of people hate on these ranking folks. Again, like I said earlier in the show, I try to not tell them how to do their job. There's some times where my opinion just has to come out. But I got to give Paul some credit, Corbin, because he's got this young man in the top 50 in the country before everyone else at this point. And I think everyone else is going to join him once they see him. Just the reality is a man that is that skilled at 7 foot, can move, is mobile, can shoot, can dunk, can play some defense, can impact some shots. He plays like the new age big in the league. That's what he plays like. He plays like a guy that can pick and pop and do some things that he needs to do because he can shoot the ball so effectively. But he can still do all the other things too. So Eric's got big potential. And he's the reason Team Museum won. The standings, I've seen them, Corbin. All I'm going to say is Team Museum, y'all are going to be sweating on whenever that show happens this week. Y'all are going to be sweating. They're on the line, Corbin. They're on the line. The top 14 are safe. Y'all are locked in.
Okay.
You're in the finals. That's how it works. For those that don't know, the PRO16, the top 14 locked in. But teams 15 through 22, man, y'all are competing. Y'all are competing. There's 4 spots, 15 through 22, 4 spots, and then you throw in the back 2 next teams, the 15th spot in the next and the 16th spot in the next, just like those aren't guaranteed in the PRO16. They'll all play PRO16 finals in Phoenix. But for Indy, for that bracket, man, it's you want to be 14. That's all I say. You want to be 13 or 14. They're going to be sweating a little bit on Thursday. But
that's going to be a fun one. We got a little bit to look forward to there. I do want to ask you one more team and one more player in particular. You brought him up, and I remember, and you're not really, I would say you have, I wouldn't even say hot takes. I would say they're really strong takes that can be backed up with some film, some study. It's not like you just basically throw out,
listen. For the record, I am not Shanku. Shanku throws out some takes sometimes that we all, some are on the show, a lot aren't on the show, a lot we hear, and I'm like, okay, Shanku, let's temper that down. I'm pretty realistic. I try to be that. I fashion myself on that. If you want to know, the most fandom that I have is for the Thunder.
Yeah.
I had them winning 52 games this year. They won 57. That's all I got to say. No one else had them doing that.
So
I'm realistic. What can
realistic with this. I got to go with that. So we're going to take that right now and apply it to this
right here. For the stray.
Shout out to Shanku. But you mentioned this player being the best true point guard in the USA. Yep. We're talking about SA Future. We're talking about Kingston Flemings. Why? I mean, obviously he's up there. Like I agree. I'm not saying that's not a hot take. It's just when you hear it at first, it's like, wait, what? Just because the entire USA, the best true point guard. But let's talk about, like, his game speaks for itself. The number speaks for itself. What did you see? What did you like? Why is he where he's at?
Well, first and foremost, I think we have to be very clear when we say this. Because we are saying one player is the best does not mean I'm sitting here crapping on all the other point guards. There are some really good point guards across the country. But Kingston, to me, is a true point guard. And I think a lot of guys that are listed at point guard are more scorers and, to be quite honest, more combo guards. They're more shooting guards or combos. He is a true point guard that I would take him in any matchup in America to make his teammates better, whether that's at SA Future, whether that's at Brennan, or whether that's at whatever college he picks. Kingston's going to make his team better, even if he's not hitting shots, which is very rare. He typically is. Obviously, he's a very talented scorer, but he's such an elite level feel for the game, the way he can pass the ball, the way he can rebound. He's almost leading the league still in rebounding after multiple sessions now in rebounding. He's a 6'3" point guard. Like, he just does things that people don't do.
Got some Westbrook in him.
So again, I would say that there are point guards in quotations that are out there that are super talented at scoring and other things. But as far as a true point guard that can score, can fill it up, because he definitely can score. He leads his team in scoring. He's very efficiently, but he can also very effectively run the show as a floor general, passing. He can also rebound at a high level. And the dude sits down and guards. He is going to give you everything that he has in his tank. And again, lay it all on the floor. The reality is he's going through growing pains with his team. Some of that because he was out for the first session. He was. They went 1-3 without him in that first session. The second session was his first session back. He got cleared, Corbin, like 2 days before the tournament, and he played unbelievable. And then this weekend, I think a lot of people will look at 0-5 without context. They had the hardest schedule of any program in the entire event. They had the hardest schedule. Literally, they played the best 5 teams in the circuit. So, yes, they went 0-5, but they also competed against all of those teams too. Okay. So it wasn't like they were getting blown out. They had a couple, one in particular that didn't go their way, but in the other 4 games, they were in every game and had opportunities to, really compete. And Kingston did everything in his power. It was not Kingston's end that you can point to by any means. So I think he's the best point guard in the country because he brings all of those tools that he has in his toolbox, and it's a deep, deep box. I mean, he's got a lot of things that he can bring out. And to me, that's what I think. And again, I know people will be like, okay, obviously, yes, you could say I'm biased, but again, I'm a realist. I believe people will come around to it. It may take him going to college for some people to agree with me, but he's going to be a dude that one day I believe has a great opportunity to get his name called in the draft. That's how talented I think he is.
Wow. I like that for sure. I mean, like you said, the talent pops off, but that is cool. That is cool for sure. And yeah, the way he played, impacting the game on all levels. You had retweeted. There was a nice video of him getting the steal, full court, finish with a slam, like all of that in one. I'm with you. You got me as a believer.
See, I didn't even talk about the steals. He's averaging 2.1 steals per game.
Mm-hmm.
His assist to turnover ratio, he's averaging 2.7 assists per turnover. I mean, and by the way, he's got the highest usage rate in the league. He's always got the ball in his hands. Always.
Yeah. Running the show.
Shooting over 50% from the floor. Like, there's not a stat that shows up where he's bad. That there's just not one. He's effective across the board. And the rebounding numbers still, to me, we have real bigs in our league. Xavier Staten, very talented rebounding big. Eric Reeby, very talented rebounding big. Chris Sanak, very talented post big that, again, 4-5 that can rebound with the best of them. That's 3 of the best posts in America. That's 3 top 50 posts in America.
That's solid.
And when he's played them, guess what? He's had over 10 rebounds against every single one of them when he's played them in a game. So I digress, but we can move forward.
No,
we got to talk about offers because we're coming up on tonight. We will eclipse over 100 scholarship offers.
Wow.
And we're not even halfway getting started.
Wow. I mean, shout out to the players, like the whole process, this circuit, like that is cool. Like to give that many kids having this opportunity. And we talked about this early in the beginning of the show, like the opportunity for college at whatever level paid for, like is amazing. As someone, I mean, getting into college is that's already a lot. Right. And doing that at a level where the work you've put in, this is almost the beginning of the culmination of those results coming back, in a major way. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into that, Matt, because I've not seen this many.
We got a lot to go through. So
yes,
we both have the list. I think for this to go as simple as we can,
let's do it.
You can give me the player. I'll give you where he's been offered. Because
I like it.
Yeah, it's a long list. And there's probably been some offers come in since we started the show. I know there has actually. So we're going to miss a few. If we do, forgive us. But the reality is it's a good problem to have. We got so many offers across the league that it's hard to keep track of them all. It is.
Where we're at right now. Yeah. All right. Let's again, and I'm going to trust you, Matt, to correct me if I say some names, but we should be good here. Let's start with Nick. We already had him on. Nick Kamenya, BTI. What do we got?
So he gets offered by Tennessee, and I want to give Tennessee their flowers. They're obviously a very good basketball program. Rick Barnes, a little bit overshadowed though, let's be honest, because he got offered by North Carolina. Blue blood. He now has Kansas and North Carolina, 2 major blue bloods that have offered him. And I mean, man, listen, I saw Brady Manick firsthand a couple years back. He's an Oklahoma kid, know him very well. He played and was a big piece on that Final Four run. Nicholas Kamene could fit in really nicely with the way North Carolina plays. So now he's got a lot of people after him. UCLA, Gonzaga was there every game this weekend. I mean, there's a lot of good schools that are going to be after his talents, but that's a big one. Anytime you get the Tar Heels involved and Hubert Davis is calling, it's a big deal.
Yeah, got some eyes for sure. Moving right on down, Chris Sinak, YGC, a few.
Yes, and he's one that, no joke, go to Twitter right now and just make sure we're not missing any others, because I kid you not, this young man is having offers come in by the second. He picked up Kansas, most notably. I think that's the most noticeable one. Just again, blue blood. Creighton, Texas, Ole Miss, Baylor, and he's not done yet. Like, he's going to get many more, but that's a pretty dang impressive list right there.
Yes, it is. It's quite the lineup for sure. Wow. We just talked about him. Kingston Flemings from SA Future already.
Yep. Kingston picked up Creighton, who does really well with guards. He also picked up Michigan. Dusty May headed up to Michigan there. They've had some success in our league at getting players. So Drew Williamson was in the house. Shout out to Drew. Talking with him, Mike Boynton. They got a great group over there of coaches, and they're very good evaluators. Like I said, they got two of our guys from a year ago. So we'll see if they're able to repeat. I'm sure they would love to repeat, but Kingston Flemings, he's a big-time guard, and he's going to continue to garner a lot of interest. I know Arkansas is, calling him as well, and obviously he already has a bunch of offers. Kingston is in the same boat with Sinak and Kamenia. They already have a ton of offers, so there's only so many schools left. But obviously Creighton and Michigan, two good ones to add to the group.
Absolutely. You mentioned Kingston being big time. Speaking of the big time player, Eric Reba, Team Museum. We talked about him earlier, but another offer for another guy who's probably going to get a lot more, huh?
Yeah, kind of the same list, honestly. He picked up Creighton earlier, and then picks up Michigan here tonight. I don't think he's done. I mean, there was a lot of people wowed with just how talented and how skilled he is. I think he's going to have even a bigger list of schools after him, as schools are really just starting to realize his potential and his talent.
There you go. More talent here to come. Let's keep it going. We got a guest of the show, what, an hour back now? Kelvin Odie.
Yeah, Kelvin picks up Creighton and SMU. Again, say the same thing that I just said. He's far from done, but he adds that to the list with Marquette and Texas A&M and several others. He's gonna have a lot of people that want him, because it's hard to find two-way guards the way Kelvin is, and I think that, to me, is something that is just very, very different. And you're seeing all these college coaches that were obviously at the event. Kentucky's there on the baseline. I mean, it was the who's who. But you got to play. You got to play. You got to play to pick up the offers. Kelvin Sampson in the house, the true OG.
Yes, sir.
He's been successful everywhere he's been. So yes, it's again a credit to all these players. They stepped up. Greg McDermott was in the house. Coach Ryan Miller started off there. He's the one who, I believe, initially extended the offer to Kelvin. But the fact that Coach G came, and that's, to be quite honest, Kelvin was really good before that, but he put on even a bigger show with Coach McDermott on the baseline there.
Wow. That's, again, like you said, raising the play in the bright lights, big time. Moving on to Amir Danford, or Danforth, excuse me.
Amir, really cool story. He is a 16U player, a 2026. So don't say it's impossible, folks. Do not say it's impossible. I know that I just told you they don't really watch 16U players, and that's still true. Amir's playing 17s with Team FEV on our next section. He picked up Oklahoma City University, an NAIA school that's got a great coaching staff, been very successful. That was his first offer ever, and then picks up his first Division I offer shortly after that. And the coming days against some great competition, he performed very well, and Northern Illinois decided to jump in the boat. Amir is related to none other than Fred Van Vliet. So obviously FEV. He's got some Fred, he's got some game to him.
I like it.
So very, very cool though. Again, a lot of our next guys are getting offers and interest. And I think that just shows the depth of our league. It's not just the Pro 16 teams. These next teams are super talented, and these colleges, they're taking notice of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of another guy, got a list. Tyrus Rathan Mays. We talked about him a little bit earlier from Coos Elite.
He's another one. I got to go to Twitter right now and just make sure that we haven't missed one because, I mean, legitimately, the dude is just getting offer after offer after offer. But right now, it's Nevada, it's Wichita State. Those are the two of note. I'm telling you, he's going to have some high major schools going on him soon. So
Wow.
he's got that size, the athleticism. And by the way, he's got some great genes. Mom and dad have produced some ball players, man. He's had, multiple brothers at the Division I level. One that was really good at Florida State, but guys are still playing ball, man. They're still getting paid to play ball. So he's got a very, very bright future.
That's awesome. Definitely. And shout out to, I mean, again, him and the way he plays for sure. Moving around down, we talked about him a little bit before, but Caden Edwards, professional scorer, the jump shot. We know
Yep.
where he going, where he could, what are the additional offers that he has received? That's a better question.
Again, he's already got pretty much, I think he has 30 plus offers at this point. So there's not a whole lot he can add.
Yeah.
But he did add USC.
Oh, I
who
like
just
that.
brought in Eric Musselman out there. Obviously, Muss was very successful at Arkansas. Creighton. I mean, man, both those coaching staffs, they love dudes that can shoot the ball and score. That's what he does. So adds two really good schools, again, to his list of 30-plus schools that he already has. Caden Edwards is a flat-out bucket.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a few more bucket guys we're going to talk about here in a bit. But one of them, let's talk about Jacory Robinson from MPJ Elite.
Yeah, Jacory Robinson changed his life this weekend. Didn't have this Division I interest, and now it's there. And an offer gets put in from Murray State, who a lot of people have come to know Murray State. They've been very successful. Obviously, John Morant went there.
I was thinking that.
But it's a great opportunity for Jacory. And I think this is the launch pad. I think this is the start of more schools starting to say, oh, yeah, we need to get on this kid. He's very talented.
For sure. Speaking of talented, one of the best scorers in Arizona, we got Uriah Tennant from Factory.
Yeah, a next squad, right? Again, this is what our league's about. He picks up an offer from Northern Arizona. Was one of, if not the best scorer in Arizona high school basketball this past season. We've seen it on our circuit. They started really rough. They lost some games that they probably shouldn't have lost out in Walnut Creek to start their season. And since then, Team Factory has been unbelievable, led by Uriah. Coach Kinney has got them right where they should be. Really a realistic chance to make the Pro 16 finals if they can pull off an undefeated weekend this week in Phoenix. Not guaranteed. They're going to need some help because of the first weekend. But Uriah, he's been that dude. And they had, 30, 40 schools watching them each game that they played. And the college coaches took notice. I'm sure, Uriah obviously gets the offer, but they've got other guys as well. So there's going to be more coming in.
For sure. Most definitely. Speaking of offers, let's give you a minute here for this one. But Cam Paul, Southern Ties. I'm gonna let you. Yeah.
John, I know he's got him later on in the show for he'll probably will be in the top 5, but I would pretty much need John to roll like a minute-long tape to get through all of these. But I mean, goodness gracious. Again, Oklahoma State, TCU, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, LSU, Wake Forest, Wichita State, and I'm sure I forgot somebody or haven't been able to list them because he probably just pulled in another offer. Cameron Paul is that dude. He's an athletic freak. He's got great size on the wing, 6'6 plus, and he was hitting shots this weekend. When he's hitting shots, here's a clip. Yeah, he can do that. He can get up with the best of them. But I mean, Cam Paul is that dude. He really is someone that on our circuit has absolutely taken off on the Pro 16 circuit. And again, we love it. It's what gives us the energy to do all that we do and excites us to come to work every day. Is this young man, he took the stage that the Pro 16 had and he said, hey, this is mine. I'm taking this and I'm gonna go show out. So big credit to Cameron Paul and what he's been able to do. And he's been able to really elevate that Southern Ties program. They started the year, again, he wasn't on the team the very first weekend they played. In their warm-up event, they didn't look very good. But give Coach Roby, the director over there, a lot of credit. John Roby has revamped the team. Cameron Paul, big part of that as a center focus. Devon Scott's been very talented. Roman Miller's had his moments most certainly throughout the season. And the list goes on and on. They've got some ball players at Southern Ties.
Yeah, They most certainly do. That's for sure. Another team got some ball players. Talked about him a little bit ago, but Quentin Rhymes from Las Vegas Knicks got a few.
Picked up TCU, really big high major offer, and then his first offer was from good old Doug Gottlieb, who is now a head coach in the Division I ranks, still on Fox Radio. It's going to be really cool to see how that goes. I think Doug will do really well. Got an offer from Wisconsin Green Bay to kickstart him, and again, Quentin's getting ready to probably have a Big Ten offer in the next day or two, if not multiple. I mean, he's very talented. He's got that size on the wing that everybody covets, can shoot the ball, super athletic, and really competes and locks down, just like every kid that plays for the Las Vegas Knicks and Denard and Coach Lamar.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens more moving forward. But let's talk about Kuz Elite. Got a few from there, but let's start with Evan Cochran.
Yeah, Evan is what I think a lot of people thought was going to be, oh, hey, he's a developmental big. Maybe he'll go Division I. Well, this week he balled out. There's no maybe, folks. Throw that out the window. Evan is a Division I big. The question is, what level? Is he going to be a mid-major plus, or is he going to be a high major? Pulls in an offer from Wichita State, Nevada, and George Mason today, and I think more are coming. That's just the reality. I think more are coming. He's got a real chance to be an impact guy at the next level.
Wow. Things you love to hear for sure. Another guy, same squad, Johan Gutierrez.
Yeah, Johan picks up an offer from Nicholls State. There's nothing like getting that first offer. There's just nothing like it. So really happy for Johan. And the Kuz squad, I think as we go through this, there's maybe 6 or 7 that picked up offers. So it's really cool just to see their whole team 8, all of them. They're all thriving on that squad right now.
Absolutely. And again, you love to see everybody coming up together on that for sure. Moving on just real quick to one family, Cole Rosario.
Yep, picked up Jacksonville first for his first Division I offer. Again, another kid that you just love to see it, life-changing. You get that first Division I offer, and it was followed. And I always like to say, when you get one offer, it's great, but when you get 2, it's just the further validation. And UMass was his second offer here in the coming days. We'll probably see some more. Very talented and one family known for development, and you're seeing that in Cole's game right now.
Absolutely. I'm going back to Kuz Elite. We got Kabari Lewis.
Yes, also offered by Nicholls State. Again, like I said, they went really deep this weekend, and as we rolled those team highlights just a little bit ago, it's easy to see why. Kuz was fantastic, going 4-1. Everybody ate, which is just really cool to see because that doesn't happen all that often. So give a lot of credit to PJ Cousinard and his squad.
For sure. Another squad we've mentioned a few players from now, YGC, Cole Williams.
It picks up an offer from Charlton State. I don't think it'll be his last. He's a 2024. He's got the option to reclass and go to 2025 or go to college right now as a 2024. He was searching for this Division I offer for a long time, and I got to think it was a really cool moment when he got that call from Charlton State. And again, I think he's going to get more calls because he's a super talented player. Had one of the best dunks of the weekend. Maybe we see that on the top 5 here in a minute. But again, I don't think he's done yet.
For sure. Love to hear those words. Let's go to a one-of-one elite and Joshua Dalton.
Joshua's got major upside. Super, super long. Just a great build. Competes. That one-of-one elite squad, Coach Nick has them competing at a super, super high level. He picks up an offer from Stetson, and that's one that I think, again, can get some colleges past. No one likes being that first college to offer. That's out of the way now, and I think it opens the floodgates down the road for Joshua.
That's awesome. Moving on here to Team First OK, Oklahoma, I'm sure, with Will Essman.
Yes, Will Essman picks up an offer. He's in our next section. Picks up an offer to Southwestern out of Kansas. Again, this is a part that I was really happy to see. The main court loaded with Division I's. We had 2 or 3 main courts. We really had 3 as you go through it. But even the outer courts, which you do not see this very often, I've been doing this a long time. Most of the time, the outer courts don't have college coaches. At our event, they did. And a lot of our teams in the next section, the majority of players are Division II NAI, JUCO, Division III kids. Again, it's no shot. That's where I went to a D2 It's all about getting your school paid for. And what was really cool to see is people were out watching, and Will was one of those guys that was evaluated, and Southwestern out of Kansas said, hey, you're good enough. We want you. And they extended a scholarship offer. So very cool for him to get that first one. And again, I don't think it'll be his last.
Yep. Speaking of not the last, we've had another from Kuz Elite here. Ian Amon.
Yes. Ian Inman is a super talented scorer. And we are seeing just him scratching the surface. I don't even think Ian Inman knows how good he can be. He's got some extreme upside. George Mason went ahead and offered him, as well as Wichita State. You're going to see more. He just scores the ball too well. And again, it's what we've said with several other guys. He shoots the ball so dang effectively that it's just hard to not include him, quite frankly.
For sure. One from TLBA, Abu Yarma. Think we already
we talked about
him a little bit. Yeah.
Such a talented three-point shooter. He got offered by High Point and Samford. I'm just going to listen. Shout out to High Point and Samford for saying, hey, we think this dude's a dude. We're going to offer him. I'm sure they're hoping that no one else realizes what we all know, and that is Abu is a high major player. I mean, he is a high major player. He is going to go high major. I'll put my stamp on that. He's going to be an impact guy. He's got that 6'6", 6'7" build that, again, we kind of have a prototype in this league. I mean, we've talked about a lot of these guys that are 6'6" plus, Cameron Paul, Quentin Rhymes, Tyrus, and Abu is right in that. And you got to put him up there. He's one of the best three-point shooters we have in this league. Mm-hmm. At some point, we may or may not have a three-point contest. I think he's in it, and I think he'd have a chance to win.
That's exciting. Is that some, I'm not gonna proud further. We have too many more names. We'll circle back around on that. That's a nugget there, don't let that go by.
We just drop subtle hints here.
Okay. I like. We're gonna put these two. We're not gonna put them together, but both on Rogue, both brothers, Tate and Ethan. Already mentioned them, but Tate Sage, Ethan Sage, both got offer. Let's talk about it.
Yep, they got offered by Pitt State.
That'd be fun to
Pitt State's got a great program. They're in the best D2 conference in America, in my opinion, the MIAA. Coach Jeff Boschee over there at Pitt State, he's had a ton of success in that league. Very talented coach. It's not a shock to me that his staff is on them early. But I will say, don't be shocked if they get Division I interest, because it's already there. The interest is already there. The offers haven't come yet. But again, just don't be surprised if those two end up going that direction.
For sure. Most definitely. Moving on to Urban DFW, we got Lamont Hartfield.
Yeah, Lamont, he played with us last year. Really talented kid. He's won a lot of games in high school. It's just great, just like the Sage twins and all these other kids. When you get your first one, it's just a big deal. Harding University out of Arkansas extended an offer to Lamont. Won't be his last. He's got a real chance to be a Division I player. And I think as he continues to go forward, he's going to get to show his skill set more and more.
For sure. Definitely. A guy we talked about again a little bit before, Southern Ties, Devon Scott.
Yeah, Devon Scott, Southern Ties, picked up an offer from Portland. He's recently also picked up an offer from Albany. Cool. He's got two now. And again, it's kind of that validation. And I think that's what Portland was. I think some schools locally will start to move on him. He's a talented player that, again, he's going to have a chance, if he keeps shooting the ball the way he's shooting, to show everybody from the low to the mid to even the high major level just how effectively he can shoot the basketball. Devon Scott's got some major upside.
Okay. I like that. Definitely. Something we'll look forward to seeing more of for sure. Let's talk about Isaiah Brown. From BYC.
Young player, mentioned earlier in the show, 2028. Really cool to see a 28 get an offer the way he did. New Mexico Highlands was the offer that he was able to get. So just cool to see the first one come off the board as a 2028.
Yeah. Going back to Kuz Elite here, Matt. We got Jason Scott.
Jason Scott also offered by Nicholls State. Yet again, just an impressive deal. Everything they've been able to do, it just, you got to start and give the whole program the credit at the end of the day. I mean, the entire program really showed out and did a great job.
No, they absolutely did for sure. Now this is the first time I've said this team. We're going to be saying them a lot here as we get toward the end. But AUSA next, we got Harvey White.
Yeah, I'll just run through these
Like,
because
we got a few of them. Yeah, we got a few of them.
There's a lot, man.
I like that. Let's go.
Harvey White, not only did he get an offer, he committed to Colorado Mesa. So really cool to see that.
Wrap.
Marco Doyle, who we talked about earlier in the show, he picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offers: Newman, Dallas Baptist, Christian Brothers, St. Mary's in San Antonio, and Texas A&M Commerce, a Division I offer for our Marco. Again, on our next section, picking up those offers. That's awesome. Bob Graish picked up Western Texas A&M, St. Cloud State, Harding, St. Mary's out of San Antonio. Jack Hargett, another AUSA kid out of Australia, South Dakota Mines, Christian Brothers University, Black Hills State. Well, Black Hills is one of the best schools in Division II right now. They got a great program. Jackson McCabe, AUSA kid, Dallas Baptist, Cameron University, Southwest Minnesota, St. Mary's in San Antonio, and Denver University, Division I school.
Wow.
And they have more. We could be here all night because AUSA had a ton of kids that, you know, are getting offers on offers on offers on offers. So it's just flat out impressive what their program has in the tank, and just, you know, all the things that they've accumulated. So they have over 10 guys that have gotten offers. So we could keep going, but I want to make sure we give you know, the rest of these programs a little love too.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of kind of wrapping up here on this program, Reese Alston from Coos
Elite, another one, the last guy to mention tonight that picked up an offer, at least as far as we know. another thing, again, they could have picked up another one, but Nicholls State extended an offer out to Reese Alston. You might check the last name. He's got some good genes.
Okay.
Got some very good genes, but yeah, big time for him. Happy for him.
Okay, another guy balling out. Speaking of balling out, we talked about him a little bit earlier again, but Joe Sterling, CPSA,
added an offer from the Mountain West School, Colorado State. What can you say? I mean, Joe doesn't have the offer list he should yet. A lot of that comes down to age. Again, they're not really looking at 2026s yet.
Yeah,
but I think it says a lot that a school like Colorado State says, "Hey, we're in."
It's certain. Yeah. They got some guys going to impact the draft this year. I mean, being in Colorado right now, I'm not mad at it. That's pretty cool. Love to see more coming. Moving on from there, we got Anthony Granger from Southern Ties.
Yep, Anthony Granger picked up his first Division I offer. What can you say? Those are the ones that, like I said earlier in the show, it's a cool thing. It's a really, really cool thing when guys get that one. He picked it up from Hampton University.
Wow. Wow. That's a nice one for sure. Got a few Knicks here. Jayani DeRoe, hope I said that right, and then Caden Goss. Both with some nice offers to a good school. Yep,
Wisconsin Green Bay. Both are 2026s. So again, I'm not telling you can't get offers. It is possible. It's not easy, but it is possible. So give them a lot of credit for what they've been able to do. And you know, I think that says a lot just with where they've been able to come from at the end of the day.
For sure. And then to wrap up, what a great list. First of all, that we had a long, nice list of players here, but 2 players, 2 different teams got a nice offer from a similar school. So, well, the same school, not similar. But let's talk about Peyton White of BTI and KJ Younger of One of One Elite. And where are they potentially having an offer for right now?
Yeah, so KJ Younger, we'll start with him. Had a really good weekend with the One of One Elite, one of LaMelo Ball's squads, and he gets an offer from Samford. Very, very cool. Obviously, I think, again, a launch pad opportunity for KJ. Had a great weekend. And then Peyton White also offered from Samford. How cool, man. I mean, the kid, this is one of the cool parts of this job. Mm-hmm. Sometimes kids do change teams. Look, that does happen in grassroots basketball. Mm-hmm. But a kid like Peyton White, he's been with BTI for a long time. He's been in our league for a long time. For him to get his first Division I offer, I would have loved to see what Russell White, his dad's face, looked like when Samford, who just made the NCAA tournament, buckyball, they can play, they can coach. they said, hey, we think this kid's really good. And I'll say my phone's been ringing off the hook about Peyton White. There's a lot of schools calling that are anywhere from, the Big Sky to the WCC to Mountain West and American Conference. And I mean, he's going to have more. He impacts winning at the end of the day, Corbin. And when you impact winning, it goes a long, long way. So yeah, you've got to give him his flowers. There's a few others that I want to throw in here. So we'll run down just a few others. Isaiah Medina picked up an offer from Jacksonville. So that was really cool to see. Also on that squad, Jacob Daniels, who we mentioned earlier, he was able to pick up an offer from Newman. He had a great weekend for them. And then we had another next squad again, both those kids on a next squad with Team Spates. Aiden Clark was able to pick up an offer from Bethany. So that's really cool. Just to be able to see, again, college opportunities at the end of the day are a really big deal. Hayden Wood picked up an offer from Harding from off 2U. So there's just a lot of young men. And again, forgive us. We tried to go through everything we could and find every offer, but I know we definitely missed some. So shout out to everybody. And there's more coming. It's just Tuesday night. And it's been a big weekend for teams performing in Wichita.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, congratulations to every player just for these opportunities here. Like you said, life-changing. And that's not even an overstatement. Like, this definitely will chart kind of where they go. And like you said, we went through a ton of names and teams and just all of that. So exciting stuff. Look forward to doing more of these. I'm sure this is now going to be something we kind of look at and check back in as we continue with the show over the course of this circuit here. But yeah,
so we got two things left.
We got two things.
If you're hanging out with us, we really appreciate it. We're over 2 hours, folks. So we're going hard here. Hey, we got Waka Flocka's team in our league, and we're going hard in the paint right now on the show. So Corbin, for the folks still listening, there's going to be a show Thursday night. It's going to have the next updated going into the last week for the Pro 16 finals. Again, not the last week for the next finals, not the last week for the next NIT. Those will still be in July. You gotta keep progressing. But for the Pro 16 finals, this weekend is it. So we'll see kind of where teams stack up. We've seen crazy things happen before, but we're in Phoenix, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma City this weekend. So teams have that opportunity in those spots to secure a spot, to steal a spot, there's a lot of bubble teams. So we'll talk about all that on Thursday, but we will also on Thursday release the final regular season standings for the Pro 16 of that section, both for 17s, 16s, and 15s. So everybody's going to know only the top 14 in 17U have a guaranteed spot to make not just the Phoenix tournament where they will everybody's going to play pool play there, except in the top 14, that is. They're safe. Their seeding is safe. Everyone else, 15 through 22, as well as 15 and 16 in the next section, those 10 teams are going to battle it out for 4 spots in a play-in tournament, just like the NBA has. Very fun. Everybody will still go to Indianapolis. So even if the teams, in the Pro 16, 17s, if they lose, they still will go. And then the final bracket won't be done, obviously, because we have the next teams. So, but you're going to know the seeding for the 16U and the 15U Pro 16 as well. All those teams make it in, and they'll play a bracket style tournament in Phoenix. So 1 game elimination once you get to bracket. But again, for 17U, it's pool play, which we're going to see super pools, and then we'll also see the back half, pools that are fighting for those play-in spots to be able to take those last 4 spots. So exciting stuff.
Wow, that is exciting. I mean, just hearing, I'm like, wow, there's so much coming up to just stay tuned for, and I'm pumped. Let's go. It's gonna be a lot of fun coming up here.
All right, last thing we got to do, and we waited. We switched it up on folks.
We did,
but we do have some top plays. So John rolled the tapes. I haven't seen them yet. I mean, I probably did in person, but I don't know what's 1 and what's 5 and I don't know. So John, let's see what we got. Okay, this is Abu at 5.
Oh,
That's I'm telling you.
okay.
It was nasty.
Okay. Oh, Christianette. Number 4, what he got? Oh, nice out the puck. Okay. And the flex.
Made it look easy.
He really
Made
did.
it look easy. That was a nasty post move. We got Gio Sanford, who is one of the best dunkers in the league. Do not be under. Don't be under.
No, don't do it. Cam Paul, we talked about him. Oh, no matter what angle you look at that, that's nasty. Number
Chris
1.
Sinak, you had to know this one was number 1.
Yeah.
My man took it. He took it from the 3-point line. Like, that's the part to me that is so absurd about that play. And then dunks it over what I think is the best shot blocker in America. And listen,
Yeah.
I've seen online. Online is a dark place at times.
It can be. It definitely can be, Matt. You know.
Xavier Staten, I love the fact that he contested the shot because you got to contest. And if you're going to contest at 7 feet, guess what? There's going to be times where you do get dunked on. But there's also a lot of times where Xavier Staten is swatting the shot into the stands,
and he's
swatting the shot to a teammate, and is making a big impact. So I love that he went up for the dunk, and I love that Chris challenged him. It was like a mano a mano, and Chris won that round. They'll see each other again at some point. We'll see how that goes. But I mean, Chris Sinak, I got to end the show with this. He was the MVP of the weekend. Has to be.
Wow.
And I say that in the same breath. Literally, my mind says, "Wait a second, Nicholas Kamania,
balled out.
Can we have co-MVP?
Not efficient.
We really can't. But
you could. Yeah,
I don't know what you do. You probably have to give it to Nick because he went 5-0 and beat him head to head.
Yeah,
but
I think you're right. That does win.
Again, what have we said the whole show? Depth. There's so much depth in the league. Nick and Chris both had incredible weekends, along with all the other guys we talked about. I'm out of breath, Corbin. We got it.
No, I know. Listen, we've gone 2 hours and almost 20 minutes in here now. Like it's definitely been a show and a half. Listen, man, we're gonna wrap up here. We already said what are you looking forward to next week? That's the question I like to ask next weekend.
It's who earns the spots. You know, on Thursday night we'll see who's obviously really close, but who earns the spots, and also there's teams that are done playing. And so it's just like the NCAA tournament. Sometimes you get beat in the conference finals or in the conference semifinals. Sometimes you get beat in the first round.
True.
And what has to happen? Somebody has to help you. Somebody's got to lose. So there's teams that are vying for those spots. That's what I'll be watching this weekend. I'm very excited for it.
No, I'm pumped for it for sure. Like you said, the stakes getting higher. I think the team's sensing it, players sensing it. The anticipation is lifting, right? I know in Phoenix, I'm gonna be hot, like both outside, also inside with all the intent. Listen, I need some. Yeah. We can talk about that later. But anyway, I'm very excited for that. Matt, though, want to thank you for coming on. And just a great show. We want to shout out to our guests as well. Know we had Nick. I know we had Kelvin. Both gave some insight. Really appreciate their time as well. Thanks to everyone who was rocking with us, whether parts of the show, all of the show. If you did all of the show, listen, special shout out to y'all.
Kudos to you.
Just gotta say it. But yeah, that was a blast. Also, shout out to Shanku. Can't wait to see you next time, bro. All right, listen, y'all. For Matt, though, for myself, for the next pro show, we got John in the back. We are Frosty. Y'all stay frosty. We'll talk to y'all real soon. All right, y'all.